Let's hit live. Right, we're going live.
Yeah, we can work through stuff if it happens.
That's it. All right, I believe we are live. Hello, everyone. And welcome. How's everyone doing today? Let's just make sure everything's all running tickety-boo. You guys see? Hello, CPX. Hello, Niles. Right, okay, I believe we are live. That's amazing. We're from working well. So, yeah, let's just bring up my questions. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for joining the stream. Really appreciate you guys. Today is amazing because I am joined by the amazing Sywo here. So, yeah, catch you off guard with my echo. How are you doing today, Sywo? It's so good to see you here. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you on the stream with me.
Hey, man, very nice to actually be on other people's streams and places. I'm very happy to talk to other communities, let's say, of players. I'm sorry. I'm just searching for your name right now so I can also get the chat up.
Of course.
I also want to see what people are asking. Oops, it was with sound. My bad. Okay, let's do it.
No, there's nothing there. Let's not confuse. So that's good.
Hello everyone. By the way, hello everyone who is watching. Very nice to see you. Thank you for joining Ben Lee and myself. Today, I said it actually on my yesterday stream because I went live incognito yesterday, and I actually said it yesterday. Such a bunch of amazing questions. You guys that are watching, Ben Lee and himself has prepared. So yeah, a pretty nice tutorial. I believe in general.
Yeah, it's good. So we're going to talk about things like Endgame and like what to do, and like kind of like a few maybe like Endgame tips and beginner tips as well, and just like a bunch of questions that's come from myself and also from the community because I've been streaming and I've had the questions up, so I've been doing it live, like putting questions together with people, which has been really nice to get people's feedback and stuff. So hey everybody, I hope you're all doing good. Yeah, I mean. So from this, yeah, we've got quite a few questions. So we'll see how we get on with everything, and we'll see if we can get round to it and seeing some of your guys' questions if you've got in the stream as well. So that'll be absolutely amazing. But should we start off with? I mean, if anybody doesn't know Sywo, I would find that hard to believe because he's amazing and he's got so much exposure and it's absolutely fantastic. So, Sywo, do you want to give a introduction to yourself and maybe like what it is you like about the game or love about the game?
Absolutely. So. Hello everyone. My nickname is Sywo. In case you don't know me, that's absolutely perfectly fine. It happens all the time. I've been covering Lost Ark and playing the game since 2018. So it's really nice to meet you in case you're new and this is the first time you're seeing me. Thank you, Ben and Sywo, Legends of Lost Ark. See, I'm not missing donations on other people's streams.
I was just about to call that one out. Norgatron, thank you very much for that. Absolutely amazing. Appreciate the support, my friend. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got the links to Sywo and everything's down in the description below. So if you guys want to see that, if you're watching YouTube side, because obviously I multi-stream, so it's YouTube and Twitch. So yes, it's all there if you guys want to do it. I highly recommend giving this man a sub. Go around, watch some of his videos, and give him a like. They're absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So the first thing, because this is one of the questions that came through straight away, was how do you feel about launch being so close now? Because you've been covering the game for a long time. So you excited?
Launch being so close. How close is it, by the way? There was rumors that it's in January. But then those rumors faded away. Now there's rumors that it's in February. The same rumors that were for January. And I know I'm getting into a different topic. By the way, you just asked me a completely different question. I'm answering randomly here.
That's fine.
I feel happy. I'm really happy, actually, really happy. So far, since June, up until 3-4 weeks ago, I was really stressed, right? Because I was part of a country which wasn't allowed to play the game. So I was a little bit stressed, a little bit unhappy because of that. Never had a doubt, though, whether I should be playing it or not. But after they unblocked my country amongst 34 others, yeah, very happy, very excited to finally... I don't know, to finally have my own stuff. Every time I played, I mostly play on the Korean servers, and every time I launched the game, it was always it was always panic time. Will I get caught? Can I use an emote? Should I type something in chat or not? Every time you need to be silent. Joining a guild was through Discord, and also doing content with high ping. That was also problematic. And to do that for 3 years, um, so excited to finally have my characters, the names that I wanted them, and to swap in between them on a daily basis. Just overall, a very nice thought.
Yeah. I'm super excited myself because I've had a lot of people ask like, oh, Ben, and are you going to still play on, for example, Russia, like when EU and NA comes out, because you put in all the time investment in and stuff. And I'm just like, to be honest, I'm so excited for the Western launch. I just want to get involved with that and just smash that really. And then maybe if there's like some maintenance or something and some downtime, I might jump across and check something out.
Yeah, for me, for me, this playing in Russia, I know that I have, for example, I don't have, let's say, many friends that I play with from the community Discord or people that are in North America. But I know other players who really have a lot of friends on the Russian servers, on the Korean servers, and now they are getting let's say split up because in Russia you don't know who's from where, right? It can be someone from NA, someone from Canada, someone from France that becomes your friend, and now to be getting split up like that, it is a little bit sad because it's been a long time. Even in Russia, we're entering now the 3rd year and we still have a couple of months to go, right? Yeah, so 2 years and a couple of months of playing actively a game, that's a lifetime for some other players. And even myself in some other MMOs that I've tried, I felt that I played Terra for a year and a half. And I felt that it was a lifetime, by the way. So it's a lot.
Yeah, that's it. So I mean, yeah, people might go back and forward, but yeah, the community splitting as well because I've been making but with the community that we've built and we've got like guilds and things, and then we've got like a guild for NA, we've got a guild for EU, and it'll be a bit of a shame for like get people to split and things, but it's just obviously people play with low ping and stuff, so yeah, that's good.
But I saw you recruiting. I saw in the title of one of your streams that you were recruiting for Lost Ark. Are you actually recruiting? Are you actually going to have 2 guilds, one for NA, one for EU?
Yes, yeah, we are planning on doing that. I've sorted out the Discord, my Discord server, so that it's like automatic role assigned, so you can go and like react if you're going to be in NA or EU, and it gives you a tag. And then we've got different levels of guilds. We've got guilds for like people who are majoritively interested in PvE, people that want to do PvP, and also I'm going to be leading the one that does the GVG, so the guild v guild, because that's quite hardcore content really, because item level matters in that, so you have to really push that up to be competitive and also be good at PvP as well. So we've kind of got it all covered. So when I was saying like recruiting for the guild and community in general, really just getting people in, because obviously there's been a massive influx, hasn't there, from beta of people coming in. So
yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, I just wanted to give people a bit of a home, really. If they wanted it, it's there. There's lots of sources and lots of other people's videos and things in my Discord as well as my own. So just a place there. So
how are you dealing with the 30-member cap at the beginning before upgrading?
For that, what we're going to have to do is make multiple guilds. So there'll be multiple guilds for PvE, multiple guilds for PvP, and then as we level them up, we'll have to condense down that way. But it's just the way it goes. So it's a shame. I'd love to have, because I ran a guild in Arcade when I played that a while back and had like 450 members in that. And that was nice to have it basically in one guild. So it's a different system here. So we'll see how it all goes. Okay. The next question we had is, because you've made a video on this very recently about the leak of Sorceress and Sorceress coming to release. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one. I mean, it was big in my opinion, of course. There were they did the same with the Striker when I'm pretty sure and your viewers as well, when they presented us the avatars for the classes, because we asked for them and they wanted to do a nice gesture, present the avatars on the actual characters. So the model that was presented there instead of the Soul Fist was the model of the Striker, and that kimono outfit. So that way they leaked the striker and they never made it official. So they never posted an official announcement. Hey, we have striker also 15th class. It was just like, just easing into it afterwards. They did the same now with the sorcerers, where they posted a picture with the Mokoko names. Very good post, by the way. I really loved it. But the only way I found out about it and why I saw it was because my main is summoner. So I was looking for summoner there to complete my name, and there was no summoner. So and then I looked under Bard, obviously in the mage section, and the class started with an S. So I thought, okay, summoner, this is me. And then I look, wait a second, it's not SU, it's SO. What is this? It's, sorcerers. So I snipped that right away because they deleted the post like 5 minutes afterwards. Only 3 replies it actually got before they deleted it. They also replied to my reply. They replied with a hash sign. So yeah, it was a little bit. It was a little bit what it was. Yeah. So I'm 99.9% sure that sorcerers is coming. Obviously, nothing is confirmed. We don't know, but to me it makes complete sense. It didn't even have to make sense for me to understand that if someone from the social media team, which again, these guys from Amazon, they're quite new to Lost Ark. They haven't played Lost Ark for 3 years or for 2 years in Russia to know everything by heart and stuff. So I completely understand them. They're just like when I don't know if you have like a job in real life, but I have one. And when I go to work, I'm a guy that when they get a new product, sometimes it takes me a couple of months to understand it and to really get the terminology correct. And it's work. I'm not going to do work at home, same as they are not going to necessarily play Lost Ark at home, even though I know some of them are for sure because I've actually played with them. But it's completely understandable. No flames here. But just saying, to mix up Summoner with Sorcerer, there had to have been a reason why you would mix up Summoner with Sorcerer. Why don't you just forget Summoner, but not mix it up with anything? Because they don't have that extensive knowledge about the game to let's say, oh, sorry, my bad. I thought it's Sorcerers because I'm maining it in KR. The Twitter team at Amazon doesn't have that. So there's probably some talk in the office and stuff. And yeah, to me, it makes sense. I believe it's coming. But there are some people who believe that, it was just a typo and that's it. Of course, it was a typo. That's how leaks come across, through some sort of a typo or an image swap. Otherwise, it's not a leak. But yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, that was a really nice explanation, by the way. Yeah, I'm really excited, to be honest, because I really hope it does come out. Because personally, it's a class that I really want to play. And talking with a lot of people as well, like during streams, a lot of people were like, "Oh, do you think it's coming out? Do you think it's coming out? Have you seen Sywo's video? Like, is it going to come out and stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen the video, and I really hope it does. To be honest, it'll be really quite nice because a lot of people that want to play like a sorceress, right? They want to play like the wizard rather than like a summoner."
Yeah, of course, it's completely different, and it completely fits the profile here in the West of I think I saw a little bit of a review that I actually want to react to. I believe this weekend. I'm not sure who it was. It was one of these popular YouTubers, maybe the Lazy Peon, maybe. And he was actually mentioning that generally he would like to try out a male mage in the games that he plays. But since there's no male mage in this particular MMO, he's going to play some, I don't know what he was playing. So, this is also not just him. It's many more people who want a mage. Is there a mage with fireballs and maybe a little bit of extra, like some lightning, some water, some stuff? Yeah, there is. It's not a male. But, so I believe it's a legit thing. And also, by the way, one last thing, which actually this is something that I've never said before. So a reveal on Ben Lee. Here we go.
Here we go.
Is the fact that no, it's nothing big. Don't hold your breath. The fact that, for example, in my last podcast where I was with Rox there and Lino and Wilkie, we discussed beta feedback. We didn't discuss the sorcerers. So, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Okay.
We didn't discuss it, and obviously it was something. It just happened the day before or 2 days before, so we should have discussed it. But it was, it was undiscussable.
Yeah. Okay. There we go, chat. There we go. I mean, I personally, I'd like to see a wizard male version at some point come out. Maybe just like the male version of the sorceress, call it something like a wizard, something like that. That would be amazing. I think that would make a lot of people very happy. And then they can do the same as they do like the gunslinger. They can tweak a few bits, and the striker, they just tweaked a few bits. That would be really quite cool.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how. Let's say I'm not exactly sure how they're gonna make the male version of the sorceress, let's say, different enough, because obviously so far they've reused most of the skills of course different sounds and animations, and at the end game they gave them different engravings which kind of changed the way you play. I would personally want an engraving that actually makes the male version of sorcerers into a real wizard at end game somehow. Maybe I want them to go really ham with this. Maybe some dark kind of thing, like a dark version of the wizard with an engraving.
Oh, that would be really cool. Actually, yeah, that would be amazing.
Same for the male summoner. I would really love to have, let's say, the male summoner be a necromancer to deal with death, as opposed to the summoner which has Maririn, has Pauru, has the flower. Maybe we can get the dark version of all of these.
Yeah, Go is saying like a warlock, maybe something like that. So yeah, I think the necromancer would be really cool. I think that'd be a really, really nice class. Right, okay, so yeah, the next thing is, again, I know that you touched up on this and you spoke about it on your last podcast. By the way, if you guys haven't seen any of Sywo's podcasts, then you definitely should, because they're absolutely amazing. And you've got one tomorrow, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Stoops is coming over, and Lino also. It's going to be generally with a PvP theme to it, because I want to talk the tournaments that are upcoming. I want to talk esports in terms of the Western version. And since Stoops was a former hardcore PvP player, which now is just doing Legion raids in Lost Ark all day long, I want to ask him what's up. How does that happen?
Because the PvE is great as well as the PvP, I think, in Lost Ark.
Yeah, I mean, you come from WoW PvP and you go hardcore PvE in Lost Ark. That's like,
All right, well, it'll be interesting to see what he says there. So check out that one tomorrow, guys, on Sywo's channel. It's going to be amazing. Again, links for everything for Sywo in the description if you're on YouTube side. Otherwise, you can just type his name in YouTube. What I wanted to ask was about, because I made a video on this because I thought things were really fast, and I was actually talking about this with Choi and Tea Party Percy as well. I jumped into a couple of their streams and we're having a little bit of a chat about the speed of the progression in beta being too fast. What's your view on that?
So this is complicated because recently, and especially after yesterday, okay, so I'm going to start with the beginning. As a player who has, actually, maybe you want to call this out first.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for the dono. Absolutely appreciate that. For the Sork reveal and your charming and relaxing stream, I promise I'll do the same in the channel next time, Sywo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the donation. Very much
Thank you,
welcome.
buddy.
So, yes, thank you so much.
I appreciate it also. About the speed of progression. Now, obviously, during our closed beta, there were a couple of things, and by that I actually mean a couple, like two, that were unintended, such as the catch-up islands, which, as you well know, I saw your video about it. You do the quests on the islands, you get a buttload of materials, right? Yeah. The second thing that was unintended was the fact that every 6 hours you could go to Mari's shop and they empty, like, I don't know, 7 pages of whatever consumables there was. This is, again, unintended. So one thing is unintended for everyone, including the free-to-play players, and the other thing was unintended for the people who want to spend some real money. Now, as a player who has played Lost Ark since day one, I obviously, the first thought that comes to my mind in terms of speed of progression is the fact that it's way too fast. That Lost Ark should be about gathering materials and having a much slower speed of progression. Like every day you can add I don't know 2, 3, 5 item levels to one piece. That is the old player in me talking. However, since season 2, when everyone in the game, every player, almost every player, including from the players to the game director, since August 2020, when season 2 was revealed, and obviously for the company even before that, because they understood the problems and they were working on season 2 to develop all the features, since that point, the game director wanted to change the way, let's say, Lost Ark players feel about the game. Because it shouldn't be, in his opinion and in the players' opinions, it shouldn't be about the daily chores, about the struggle of enchanting your gear and missing out on content because you're not yet there. It shouldn't be about you being forced to, or feeling forced, pressured to deposit real money in order to take advantage of every single material that is available on a daily or a weekly purchase in this game, which some of them are for real money if you wish so. So everything changed, the mentality changed, and this was changed. This was a very slow process at the beginning. And as a player who has played before, you know, this is too fast. As a player who has also played in recent years and who has really understood what the game is going for. And these words that the game director has spoken in the 2020 stream, and also in the most recent game director letter in Korea, to me, they just went through my ears instead of to my brain. They just went down here to my heart. It was just like a life-changing experience for me to have his thing really well translated. By the way, I paid someone on Fever or whatever that site was. There was
Fiverr,
a site where
yes.
Yeah, Fiverr. So I paid someone there to translate 2.5 hours of him talking about the game. Actually, it was just an hour because I was just interested in the last bit. Regardless, the speed in the beta was too fast compared to what it's going to be in the real game, but I now honestly, truly believe that progression in Lost Ark could as easily be horizontal as opposed to vertical, in terms of we shouldn't necessarily be forced to every day log in to get our gear straight and our item level straight. Maybe we can log in 3 out of 7 days or 4 out of 7 days to just have fun with our friends. Maybe maybe try some islands, maybe do some events, maybe finish our gathering, maybe not feel pressured that if today I don't log in for Chaos Dungeons, I'm already behind my friends. Because that was the feeling that you had in Lost Ark in the first 2 years. And that wasn't necessarily a good feeling. It wasn't a good feeling for a Westerner, myself. It wasn't a good feeling for a Korean. Obviously, I loved that system because before this game, I played another game with a similar system where everything was about gear and being punished and struggling, that Western struggle to always enchant and be better, get better gear. This is the complete opposite of, for example, Guild Wars 2, where I'm not sure, did you play Guild Wars 2 or?
I played a bit of the first one and I dabbled ever so slightly, but no, not really. If I'm honest.
So in Guild Wars 2, basically you can get maxed out in terms of what gear you need for any content in the game, from the hardest to the easiest, in like 2 weeks and $50, right? So it's really fast. But afterwards comes a place that might not be for everyone. Not everyone wants to, I don't know how to call them. I have some friends which said, with this new system in Lost Ark, things that you do on a daily basis are no longer forcing you to gear up. They're forcing you to do more casual, relaxed kind of content. Achievements, map completion, pirate coins, island hearts, giant hearts. These account kind of beautiful things in Lost Ark that used to be squeezed in between getting all the Acrasium pieces from every possible Chaos Gate and Mari's Secret Shop once in 12 hours. There was a freaking spreadsheet on and the website which alerted you every time Mari's Secret Shop was resetting, because if you didn't get the one Acrasium from Mari's Secret Shop, eventually in 3 weeks you got to be at a lower item level, which didn't allow you to go with your friends. So it was insane. I really do believe in recent months, and I'm talking since slowly since August 2020, last year, I really do believe that Lost Ark can have a vertical progression, at least for tier 1, because obviously we're just talking about this tier 1 right now. Yeah. Tier 3 is still really hard. It's still very grindy in terms of getting the materials that you need. This is in Korea right now. By the time we get tier 3, that also might change a little bit or be westernized a little bit for us to still continue the same kind of beautiful vibe of not feeling pressured, but just coming into the game for fun. I stopped doing PvP in this game simply because at one point during my posting on YouTube thing, because in the first 6 to 8 months, it was just purely PvP. I really didn't care about any bosses in this game. Who cares, right? That's the mentality that I got. And then afterwards, after 6 months of just PvPing, I started to feel a little bit ashamed that other people in my friends list, other people in the guild that I was in Korea, Westerners, right, were so much ahead of me in terms of item level that me, the big, wannabe content creator, was like so low. So I started to do PvP because of PvE, because of shame. And I don't think that's right. And that's never going to happen in the Western version of things. You want to be a PvPer, level 50, and still keep up with gear with anyone really in the game, plus minus 4 or 5 days. And that's from a wallet warrior to a hardcore 3-character player. You can absolutely do that. Is Ben Lee, that plays 3 characters and he's really hard, does every single thing, gonna have all 3 characters at max item level in tier 1 before I have one? Sure, but I will have one by the time he has his first also. So that's the difference. And then I can just do PvP if that's what I want to. I can just take care of my house if that's what I want to. I can make 5 different accounts because I just want more energy of work to gather plants if that's what I want to, without feeling pressured, ashamed, or whatever. Just being forced into doing a specific activity every day, because if you don't do it, Ben Lee is all of a sudden better geared than me and his stream titles look better. First world problems. But no.
No, I think that was really wise words, actually, and goes just to that as well, wise words. I think that was really nice. I mean, what I was worried about when I made that video was, because there's 2 kind of things I want to say about this, was people missing out on content, like skipping. Because this game to me is an absolute masterpiece. It's so good. And I was worried that people were just going to skip it, do the endgame stuff, and go, done that now, bit bored, going to leave, and then wait for maybe like tier 2 content to come out. That was my kind of concerns. But also,
mine too.
Yeah.
My first thought, that was my first thought. Absolutely. When I saw this, that was my first thought. If people can just do a couple of quests, and just enchant, they're just going to do 1 Urnil, 1 Lumerus, and 1 of the ice boss, and then they're never going to come back. They're just going to be at the end and basically be bored and quit. But why would you be bored and quit if there's so many other cool activities to do in Lost Ark, on top of, by the way, because this content doesn't go anywhere. You're still in tier 1. You're still going to be farming whatever tier 2, 4, right? The Guardian raid, and you're still going to be farming the Abyssal Dungeons, and you're still going to be doing everything in the game. But on top of that, nobody is going to feel pressured that they have to. And very important for the West, another thing that this brings, just because it's here, this faster pace of gathering materials, is the fact that I cannot see how anyone will ever notice that this game is pay to win, because there's never gonna be anyone next to him that's so much ahead. Oh, he's a wallet warrior. Yeah, people are gonna have dope mounts, dope skins, sure, and you might not want to because you don't pay a single dime in the game, and that's perfectly fine. But like pay to win, how are they gonna call this game pay to win when everyone's gonna be, I don't know, at some form of end game or at least close to each other? I'm gonna be in tier 2 first boss, you're gonna be in tier 2 third or fourth boss, and then I'm gonna catch up to you 2 days later, or 3 days later, or whatever. So there's pluses and minuses. I'm not exactly sure because I'm not that smart, so I don't know how these things are gonna work out. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a little bit slower without the islands and the Mario Secret Shop thing. But again, I'm going to notice it. Ben Lee's going to notice it. Everyone else that has played the game is going to notice that it's fast or slow, or that I've already reached the end. But why are we complaining? Because we have already reached the end 9 times over. So this is, again, a person who is new, which is the majority, they're going to take 5 to 7 days to even get to level 50. And I know that sounds weird, but that's just the majority of players. And then after that, they're going to slowly start grinding. That's already, 2 weeks before they even pass the tier 1 raiding and the first couple of Abyssal Dungeons. And we're 3 weeks in the game. I am personally done, and with 3 characters, and enjoying my PvP, gathering island hearts, and they are just, starting to be done. So, yeah, but I'm too stupid to understand if this is going to be amazing, or if this is going to be, let's say, more detrimental than amazing.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. I mean, I completely understand as well about the pressure as well to do it, because when I'm streaming, I'm leveling up my gunslinger and stuff at the moment on Russia. I don't really have the time to do my life skills. I don't feel like I have the time to do my life skills right now, and I'm just pushing through Rahindle, pushing through Yawn, and pushing through that and Peyton and stuff, but. Yeah, I mean that is, it swings and roundabouts, right? You got your ups and downs, your pros and cons, and yeah, I feel for more casual players it would be amazing, because then they don't have to feel so pressured. They can kind of keep up and they can enjoy it. And then if you are, go on.
Sorry, you finish. I'm sorry.
That's right. I was just gonna say, if you are like a min maxer, then if you get one character up, then you get the second, third, fourth, as you were talking about. But go for it, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention that this whole talk that we had and my monologue for the past 5-6 minutes was strictly about the tier 1 thing that's happening for us. We're getting tier 1 and then tier 2 and then tier 3. For those of you who are new, this tier 1 comes with specific gear, specific bosses, specific types of content even that you can do. Tier 2 comes with different gear, different bosses, same idea. And then tier 3 comes with completely new ideas and completely new bosses, completely new difficulty, by the way, from maps to quests to whatever, dungeons, raids, higher man raids, more man raids, etc. So everything we talked about is just tier 1 thing. This is not to say that tier 2 will be as easy to progress through as tier 1, because it won't. Tier 2 brings a little bit more things even in the game, in terms of the jewels, for example, right? The jewels that come with tier 1 that you get with tier 2 that you can combine and apply them to skills. This comes with tier 2. Tier 2 comes with the same kind of amount of content, but with different requirements in terms of upgrading the content, different mats that you might want to farm around the world. So it adds a little bit more in terms of that grind that some people want. And then tier 3, when we're going to get that, adds a lot more grind and materials and chances to fail, by the way, because this is also very important. If we would have, let's say, chances to fail in tier 1 gear, because we don't really, more than 30% chances to fail, it's not present as much as you need to get to 600. So, but in tier 3, the chances to succeed are maybe 5% on some things. You can start taking, in tier 3, you can start taking stats like tripod stats from pieces of armor and placing them on another piece of armor that has also abysmally low chances to succeed, and you would want that for the content that comes. So it's an easy way to get us in, to get the new people into the game, and we that have already finished everything up until Legion raids, I don't understand why are we complaining. Actually, I mean, I've done this at least 15 times. Tier 1, tier 2, going to tier 3. So like why am I complaining that I have to do it again? And this time I'm actually not pressured, not forced. I can just PvP, I can just get my life skills, I can just have 6 different characters if I want to play that much Lost Ark every day, and do all sorts of things. I can take care of my house, I can finally finish my map completion, because playing in Korea, by the way, and even remotely attempting to keep up with someone that's really at Endgame, I'm not talking about 1,400, I'm talking about 1,500 plus. This is impossible, basically. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. So it's always a pressure. It's always a, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that was really good. Yeah, it's stuff. I mean, I like the fact that when like tier 2 content comes out, there's more than just like the next set of Guardian raids and the next set of Chaos Dungeons doing the same thing. Like they added bits, and then like, yeah, as you say, experiencing tier 3 content for you guys that are waiting for the Western release. And then when we do get tier 3 content, it's glorious. By the way, it's glorious. It's really hard. Some of the mechanics of the bosses and stuff are really hard, but it makes it so much fun to learn and discover this. It's really good. So you're in for a treat. All right, so if we move on to some of the more questions, as I said, so welcome everybody as well that's just tuned in. We've got a whole bunch of questions here for Sywo to go through, questions for myself and that you guys have put together with me on stream, which has been really nice. So the next one, if we go into like tips, right? Let's go into like tips for new players picking a class. Like, do you think people should listen to tier lists, or should they just pick something that they find fun? What's your kind of view on that? Because that was a question I got asked.
Right. So I think if the tier list is good, then that's or well made, or made for us in the West specifically, then that's a good tier list. Now, obviously, if you think about just the tier list, that tier list most likely will change every 2 or 3 months when there's a balance patch. So the goal of the devs is to get all of the classes, let's say, depending on the class's skill level, like for example, a gunslinger or a Deadeye is intended to always do more than some other classes, than many other classes, as long as the player behind the keyboard is really talented, very fast, plays with good ping, etc. So besides these little nuances, it is intended that all of the classes can and actually will finish every single content. Picking a class from a tier list, if that makes you happy, do it, because the best advice that I can give in terms of picking a class is to pick a class that you feel you can play 5 to 6 hours a day on, right? If you have 2 of these classes because you get bored of playing 5 hours one, then pick 2 and play 3 hours on each, right? Or pick a class for PvP content and then pick a class for PvE content. There's all sorts of ways you can combine this class picking in Lost Ark. And I always tell people that ask me, should I play more than one class, or should I play the popular class now, or have that, and that? Whatever makes you happy. If you want to play more than one class because that makes you happy on a daily basis, you log in with happiness to Lost Ark, that's the way you're gonna stick to the game for a longer time. And it's so worth it, by the way, absolutely worth it to actually stick to the game, because so many good things are coming in the future to Lost Ark. So it's an experience worth having, right? So yeah, whatever makes you happy. For me personally, I've played all of the classes, some of them more than others. These most recent ones, like for example, Sorceress, I didn't really feel very motivated to play her for more than 4 to 5 days of content. So that's basically not playing her at all. Obviously, to know a build or to know a tripod or a set of runes that go good with it, that's a completely different story. Of course, that's out of the question. But I already know that I like to play Summoner, I like to play Artillerist. And these are the 2 classes that I'm going to have in release. If I want to have 4 characters, I might have 3 Artillerists, 1 Summoner. It depends. If I'm going to have a PvP character, which one of these 2 I enjoy PvP the most on? summoner. So I'm going to have that as a PvP character. So yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Whatever.
That's good. I mean, because I get it all the time. People go, what's the best class for PvP? And what's the best class for this? And I just say, to be honest, I can tell you what it is like in Russia now. And I can tell you that, like, Blade, for example, as a melee is really strong because there's all the super armors and things. But then I also make sure to say that, like, balance changes happen. You know, the War Dancer, that one got nerfed down when I was speaking with Lino a little while ago. He was saying about the fact that it used to have, one of its skills used to have super armor, and they nerfed it, and it used to be like a top tier class, and they took the super armor off that one skill, and it went from top to kind of bottom. That was how Lino described it to me. So just be cautious with tier lists and things. But if, as you say, if it makes you happy and stuff, then go for it, because you know, some of the tier lists and things out there, you know, there's good reason for why they make them, and they make good points and stuff as the content creators say them. Yeah, so just be aware of the balance changes is my kind of thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you look at the Korean region, then you can make a specific tier list based on popularity of classes, what people choose, or what's good in a ranked season, if you're talking about PvP. But then looking at the Western version, where we have 15, 16 classes compared to 21, and we're actually missing some I don't want to call them key classes, but the key classes for balance in between classes, if I am to put it like that. Like, for example, a destroyer, right? We don't have it. A destroyer destroys summoners in terms of PvP content. Now, if there is no destroyer, obviously summoner has other counters as well in PvP, but they will do better because of the lack of destroyer. Not saying that going from gold is going to be grandmaster for a summoner automatically because there's no destroyer, but it's in the little nuances. For example, there's no lance master, which is a great class to play, for example, again, for the backlines, like a summoner or maybe a soul fist. Maybe soul fists are going to do better because of this. There is a gunslinger, but not a scouter. So, you know, which classes do well against it, which classes do bad against it. Do we have them? Do we not have them? So, you know, making a tier list is no.
Tricky. It's tricky because it's specific to the region at that time, I think is what can be important thing. So
and also, by the way, speaking about the tier lists are also generated by the amount of players who play a specific class. In Korea, there's a lot of players who play the fighter classes, or they also like the gunner classes that are fast, like the Deadeye and the Gunslinger. But here in the West, there is a lot of players who play Shadow Hunter. So because there's so many of them, and maybe there's fewer bards, maybe groups in PvP are going to have fewer bards in general, and thus classes that do better without the support, or classes that can shine even if there is no bard in the group, or a paladin, which is again a class that in the West doesn't seem to be picked up very often, then those classes might have a better time climbing the ranks, and then you're going to be like, whoa, wait a second, so why is a gun lancer in the top 10 PvP players when there's no region where there's a gun lancer in the top 10 PvP players? Well, because of lack of some classes, because of lack of popularity of some others that help a gun lancer or disrupt him in that sense. So yeah, it's
and that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay. So if we move on to the next one, this was one that came from the stream. It's easier classes for maybe new players to the game, or MMOs in general was what it came. So if someone may be fresh to an MMO, obviously there's a lot to learn with MMOs, and be very patient, guys, with your learning, especially if you're new, never done one before. It takes months and months to pick up all the nuances and all the different screens and UIs and things up. But did you have any advice for maybe an easier class for someone who's completely new to MMOs as well as the game?
Yeah, I see some of my viewers also in the chat, so I just wanted to say I salute you guys. Thank you for joining, and thank you everyone for joining also. So easier classes, Shadow Hunter. Sorry, but I don't want to say easier. It is easier, actually. Easier and also better for new players. A Shadow Hunter, for example, a very nice class to get you into Lost Ark. Actually, to be fair, playing a Shadow Hunter kind of tells you everything about this game. Just a couple of combos, a lot of good-looking skills, decent amount of damage, very beautiful in terms of how it sounds, and also kind of surprising or maybe customizable with the innate, where you pop it and you transform into something else, right? You don't really see this very often in other MMORPGs, that your class, you have your 8 skills, you barely got used to them, bam, you press space and then or whatever key you have, and then you transform into some demon version of yourself, and she walks like really, it's cool. So it's a cool class, obviously perfect for new players, not to only to get a good feel of Lost Ark, what's waiting for you later on and with other classes as well, but also to just play and feel like you're doing a good job on it, feel like you're not necessarily maybe dying so often, because you have on top of your dash, you have another mobility skill which you can use, so it makes you faster in the world and in dungeons and stuff, to avoid mechanics, so you feel better when you do a good job in general in playing games, right? It sucks when you just are bad all the time. So because of that, Shadowhunter, a great class. Also, another great class is the Berserker. Not so slow, not so fast either. A very good rhythm. Also, pressing the innate gets you access to 1 extra skill, and then on top of that, nice amount of damage. You see those yellow crits on your screen. So it's a feel-good class, kinda. A lot of AOE, simple to use. So I would recommend these 2 classes for new players.
That's amazing. No, that's really good. Yeah, as well. Like, I really like the fact that you Shadow Hunter is just like a really good mix of everything, because it is like a hybrid class. You are ranged and stuff, and in PvP you have a lot of range skills and stuff, but you also have the melee combos. As you said, you jump in, do a quick bit of damage, and then jump out again, and that's really nice. And then I always describe it as when you go into your demon form, I just say it's go time, right? You're faster, and as you say, like the way you run and stuff, it's very unique.
It's also go time for your opponents. Go back to your well. And your spawn point.
Loads of damage and stuff off. It's really nice. Okay.
And I'm not saying that, those of you who are new and watching this, don't think that because Shadowhunter is a class that's great for new players, it's some sort of a stupid class. Like, you play this until level 50, and then you swap, you finally get your hands on a real man's class. It's not like that. Obviously, at Endgame, Shadowhunters are really good in the good half of things, for PvP content, for PvE content as well. So yeah, go on with it if you really like it. It's absolutely no shame. I have actually a real life friend who's going to play a Shadowhunter just because it's so cool. It's just a cool class.
It is pretty cool. I completely agree there. All right, so yeah, we've got the next thing I want to talk about. I'm going to kind of split up into like two parts. So we've got like things to do at 50. So like what the game offers. And say break it up into 2 parts. So the first part is more this were people in the stream stuff that were wanting to know more about like min-maxing, because there are going to be people that want to min-max, and there's going to be people that want to just chill with the game and just chill there. So cool. The first thing was like things to do to improve your gear, like dailies, your Una tasks, maybe some islands and raids and things. Just like a bit of an overview of like what can you do if you got to level 50, you want to gear up quickly, you want to do what should maybe people look to there?
The daily thing. So if you're into min-maxing, you can absolutely do that in Lost Ark, and you're not only going to have fun because you can min-max in this game. You're also going to get some nice profit out of it, because eventually your min-maxing is going to be over. So the rest of the mats you can, just sell them to other players that don't want to min-max and want to do something else. Daily things are important in Lost Ark. Like Ben mentioned, there's daily quests that you can do. These daily quests, you can do 3 of them per day. There's weekly quests also that you can do. The daily quests, for example, all of your characters on one server contribute to all of your characters on one server can do each of them 3 dailies, and they contribute to the speed of which you get a token that is rewarded for doing dailies. And this particular token is used as one of the main sources of of getting liquid gold. When I talk about gold, there is gold that you can get from selling stuff to other players. Obviously, this is not necessarily it is a source of gold. It's the biggest source of gold selling on the auction house. But it's not that liquid gold that comes from the game in your bag and contributes to the economy, right? It's gold that someone, I don't know, purchased from another player with real money, maybe. So I was just wanted to say that I can actually also show. I'm not sure. Is it actually possible that my camera would be full screen or not possible in Discord? Sorry.
I'm not sure. It might come up as just as what you've got, the section on stream there. Because when I first got into the call with you, it showed your game, and then you switched it over to that. So you could switch it to there, but I don't have scene set up to just make you full screen.
Right. I get you. Okay. Yeah. Well, it would be too small in this particular thing. It wouldn't contribute to anything. I just wanted to maybe show also. So these daily quests are a good source of getting raw liquid gold. You get some tokens for finishing them, and at one point when you reach a certain threshold of these tokens on top of the rewards that the daily quests give you, you can go ahead and buy yourself an RNG bag of gold. Which is liquid gold. Gold is very important in the game in general. Then there's Chaos Dungeons that you can do on top of the daily quests and weekly quests. And by the way, guild quests, I even forgot to mention those. If you are in a guild, which is really important in Lost Ark, and not only for the social aspect, which is great, but also for min-maxing aspect, very important to be in a guild. And the currency that you are from being in a guild and doing guild stuff, you don't necessarily have to, let's say, run things with them. You can just contribute to every day to the guild's progression and leveling. And then at the end of the week, you're still going to get a little bit of this guild type currency. This guild type currency becomes very important in tier 3 content, where, for example, you can purchase from it items that increase your success rate. So you can even be ready for a year from now by being in a guild from day one and doing your contribution. Chaos Dungeons are these 4-man, very easy kind of content. That you have 2 of them per day that give you the full loot. And by full loot, I mean the armor that you get from them, the weapons, the seal books, and enchantment materials raw in your bag from the loot. And then on top of the 2 a day per character, you can also do a lot more. I don't know how much was the number. I believe it was somewhere around 25 more per week, and get the weekly materials that and get tokens that you can exchange for materials for upgrading your gear, again min-maxing, materials to further upgrade your gear that are capped on a weekly purchase limit. On top of that, also to be kept in mind that half of these enchantment materials that you get from Chaos Dungeons or from tokens from Chaos Dungeons are actually untradeable. So if you're thinking about selling them, then maybe Chaos Dungeons, if you're out of time one day, maybe doing a Chaos Dungeon is less important in terms of getting tradable, sellable materials than doing, for example, a Guardian Raid, right? Which gives you, all of them are tradable from there. Speaking about Guardian Raids, again, this is a type of 4-man content. We are going to have 8 different Guardian Raids that you can farm, all of them giving you tier 1 materials. The higher the level of the Guardian Raid, so the higher the difficulty, and also the same goes with Chaos Dungeons, by the way, the more amount of materials you get. So the more materials you get them from a higher level of a Guardian Raid, yeah. Then lastly, in terms of like the bread and butter, the absolute foundation of content, instance content in Lost Ark, are the Abyssal Dungeons, which are three of them per week, right? Per character, 3 of them per week per character. And we have several of them, so you can farm those with several characters 3 times per week, each of them. which is a lot of content, by the way, with the addition of the 3 times per week Abyssal Dungeons. That's a lot of content that you can do on, even if you play one character, by the way. Playing various characters, of course, there's other stuff that you can do at endgame for min-maxing. You can start doing, for example, C events, right? Shall we go into C events now in the min-maxing section?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, if you want to talk about it now, absolutely fine.
Because in the order of importance of things that if you're a min-maxer and you want to do this in Lost Ark, the order of importance is getting one character to 50 as fast as possible, doing your dailies, which are Una's tasks, the daily quests, then the Chaos Dungeons, then the raids, and then after that, you go and level up another character, right? And you do again Chaos Dungeons, raids, Una's tasks on the second character as well. Later on, when you hit the item level appropriate for the Abyssal Dungeons, because these actually have an item level 340, very easy to reach in our Western version, then you can start, the daily or the weekly thing on the Abyssal Dungeons, guild quests, weekly quests in the same menu as the Una's tasks. These are also something that you should be focused on doing as a priority. And then afterwards, after people get 2 characters, let's say to level 50, then they slowly start to get into other things that would help you min-max, such as the water events, which rewards you with pirate coins. So we talked about the guild currency, from which you can also buy tier 1 enchantment materials, a little bit of a waste, if I may say so myself, knowing what's coming, because you have so many sources of tier 1 materials these days in our Western release, that spending your guild tokens on them is actually, in my opinion, a big waste comparing to the things that you can purchase, the really valuable things that you can purchase in tier 3 content. These guild tokens, Silmile's Shard, or however they're translated in various regions, these guild tokens have stayed the same from day 1 when they were introduced all the way to today. So it's not like you should be worried that by the time we get tier 3, these guild tokens will be somehow changed. It is a possibility. Maybe we get season 3 in 2023. And then they change them and they give you something else in exchange. So your plan to gather them for tier 3 has failed. However, as it stands right now, if anyone would have told me, hey, keep them because in a year from now, you're going to be getting like bonus luck materials for enchanting for tier 3, which is really, really hard and very precious, by the way, then I would never spend a single Silmile blood shard on tier 1 gearing up materials or whatever, when you have a million different ways of getting a tier 2 also. So yeah, that's like a tip for min-maxing if you want to care for it, and if you want to take the chances that the Silmile Bloodstones will still be Silmile Bloodstones and the rewards will still be the same, I don't know, 9 months into release for our Western version. So yeah, that's the way. And then afterwards, you start doing these C events, as I was saying. Sorry for pirate coins. I apologize. Huge monologue here.
No, it's really good. I really like that info. Yeah, keep going.
Right. So after you get these 2 characters to 50, again, you don't have to. For our Western version, the way we have things, 1 character is plenty sufficient. You start doing sea and water content. These events that are timed events, they come at specific times, specific days. You can participate in them, and after a series of little, very easy to do tasks, then you get rewarded with, let me call them sea and water tokens, because there's a variety of them. For us, we're just going to have 2 types, because we are having, let's say, the two sides of the sea. But later on in the game, there's going to be more types of these sea and water content, because there's going to be more seas unlocked in which you have these sea and water events. These sea and water events are just, as I said, timed, so you know way in advance, a month in advance, when they're going to be and at what hour, so you can get yourself ready to go there. And you get rewarded with these tokens that later on you can exchange them for pirate coins, right? Also, these tokens that you get from the sea, you can exchange them for giant hearts, which makes you wonder, should I get the pirate coins now or should I get the giant hearts? Because for giant hearts, which leads me a little bit further into this min-maxing. Something that you would want to do is acquire some of these collectibles like giant hearts. They are important. Island hearts, they are important. Not all collectibles are important in terms of min-maxing, by the way. We're just talking about min-maxing here, not like corazon things. For me, a Mokoko seed is more important than a giant heart. I'm just going to say it as it is, simply because I get a statue for my home, and I have plenty of time to get that giant heart. But if you're a min-maxer, then you would want a giant heart for several reasons. I believe that in terms of giant hearts, you have a giant heart at 6 points, and for 6 giant hearts, and for 9 giant hearts, I believe is important to get, because for 6 you get a skill point. No, for 6 you get a rune, and for 9 you get a skill point potion, which adds 6 more skill points to your character. So that's also important, because as you're working on your gear, you also work on side things, like getting more skill points to assign more points into your skills, thus getting to get more traits. The same goes, for example, for I mentioned it earlier, but I forgot.
The other collectibles.
Yes, collectibles. So it's giant hearts that are important.
The island hearts?
The island hearts, exactly. For 20 island hearts, again, you get a very nice rune, right? Runes which improve a skill. For example, this rune from the island hearts makes it so that while you're casting said skill that this rune is bound to, you get an 8% shield of your total HP, 8% of your total HP in the form of a shield. So obviously, every class has a skill that they have a long animation for, right? Like every class, including the fighters, there is a skill that you stay in its animation for long. It doesn't have to be a cast, but as you can imagine how priceless it is to get an 8% thing to use it on a skill that has a longer animation, so that you wouldn't necessarily be worried of taking that little bit of damage while you use this particular skill. Fantastic also for head attack and for classes who have a lot of head attack skills, as you will be staying in front of the boss very often, or at least you would maybe want to stay in front of the boss so that those skills do 20% more damage. So because you're staying in front, you're not only trying to avoid the big mechanics, which should be avoided no matter what shields you have on yourself, but just the regular swipes of a boss, which are annoying. Sometimes they stiffen you, if that's a term, and they cancel your animation. So it's cool to have this kind of a shield to use less potions if you're in front. A class like a Scrapper, for example, likes to be in front. A class like a Gun Lancer loves to be in front. A Destroyer, we don't have it, but loves to be in front. Artillerist also has quite some nice skills that they do from. Anyway, so yeah. And lastly, I would like to also talk about the map completion. I know it sounds a little bit weird if you're like min-maxing. Maybe you're just thinking about gear and item level and traits. But map completion is also a place from where you get these INEA tokens, right? If you finish a map at 100%, you get these INEA tokens, and these can, again, this is another collectible that can be exchanged at an NPC, and for various stages, I believe it was 5, 8, I don't know, I'm not next to the NPC right now. 5, 8, and 9, I can be next to the NPC because I'm quite frankly in game. 5, 8, and 9, you get, again, a really nice rune, you get a skill point potion, and something else that I remembered that I forgot it was actually important. So more skill points, more runes, right? Important stuff. And this is the way of let's say, min-maxing, in my opinion.
That was amazing. There was so many gems of information in there, and just doing it all. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And what I found super interesting. Go on. One more.
Sorry, I actually remembered I'm at the NPC. So you get a Bifrost slot for 8 pieces. of this. So for 8 completed maps, you get a Bifrost slot. And for those of you who are new, this Bifrost slot is an instant teleport to almost anywhere you want in the world, which if you're talking about, for example, daily quests, or even map completion, it's really cool to have. I believe everyone gets one for free. So an instant teleport outside on an island in front of a daily quest that you like to do, right? So you wouldn't have to travel, spend time. You just instantly teleport with this teleportation, which is called Bifrost, and then you finish your daily quest. Bam, you're done. Move to the next one. So one Bifrost slot everyone gets for free. Then another 2 Bifrost slots come from the premium membership. And there is another Bifrost slot that comes from this map completion. So eventually you can have 4. And each character on your account can set their own Bifrost recall points, let's say, for the specific dailies that they want to do. Speaking about dailies, I'm not sure why. Am I making a guide here? Speaking about dailies, I also wanted to mention that characters on the same server, right? Not account, server, because Lost Ark is per server. You can have 6 characters on one server, 6 characters on the other server. Account things are not shared. Server things are shared, right? So dailies, you shouldn't be doing the same 3 dailies on all of your characters. You should be doing different dailies if you want to min-max, because these dailies have, on top of the rewards that they give you, just raw rewards in your bag, they give you those tokens for bags of gold, which we talked about. Now, on top of these 2 things, they also contribute to, let's say, a one-time only special reward track, which is cool to have. But if you do the same daily on 3 different characters, it's not going to contribute towards that reward track 3 times, because you did it 3 times the same daily on 3 different characters. It's just going to contribute 1 time. So doing different dailies on different characters is actually cool. If you're asking about absolute crazy amounts of min-maxing, you can alternatively have 2 accounts, for example. It's a lot more grind because, as I said, these giant hearts, these Mokoko seeds, or whatever collectibles you want to get that are important, marks of Ignia, you won't have them on a second account. But having a second account, for example, allows you to do more dailies, right? And since dailies is one of the few, maybe 3, 4 things that you can do in game to actually get liquid gold, and from dailies you can get the most liquid gold from the economy, from the game itself. It would be cool. It wouldn't be cool. Don't do it, by the way. But if you're crazy, having another character on another account, also getting that to 50 as opposed to getting 4 characters on one account, you can get 2 characters on each. And then 1 account you kind of leave for PvP content, because in PvP content everything is equalized, so you don't necessarily have to farm these skill points or these giant hearts straight from the get-go. You can just do them later in months to come at a very slow pace, and you can kind of have an account for when you want to do a little bit of PvP and leave 1 character at least there for PvP. And with the other, you can still do dailies, right? And you can still get these tokens from the dailies, which you can exchange later with the bag of gold. Because as I said, on one server, on your main account, you do as many dailies as you want. Tokens for bags of gold are limited, and all of the characters contribute to the same reward track of these tokens, right? The only difference is if you're doing it on 1 or 6 characters, is that if you do them on 6, you're going to get your bag of gold, I don't know, 2 days after Wednesday, after reset, right? Because you do so many dailies on so many different characters. But after that, you're not motivated to do dailies for the bag of gold, just for the rewards that they give. But having 2 accounts with 2 characters each, sure, you're going to get your bag of gold at the end of the 7th day because there's fewer characters contributing to this. But yeah, that's one thing. Also, the gathering energy, by the way, the energy of work that you have is again shared throughout your characters. So if you're a person who loves gathering and then crafting stuff out of your gatherables, which is a cool business, by the way, to do in Lost Ark, because everyone wants gatherables and consumables and everyone uses them. Maybe you won't feel such a big difference now in tier 1, with the exception of signal flares, because we get so many rewards from logging in and from this and that and bags of potions and stuff. But later on in tier 3, when you're going to be popping those potions like it's nothing, and you're going to have many characters who pop them, it's going to be a good profit for you. Not to mention that you can craft a lot of other things with the gatherables, and this energy of work is shared per server again. Yeah. Alternatively, you can just as an alternative of having 2 different accounts, like 2 different Steam accounts, which is insane. Don't do it again. You can just have a set of characters on 2 different servers, but then it becomes a little bit harder to trade with yourself, because obviously you have, you would maybe eventually want to funnel everything, all the gold and stuff, into your main. So the only thing that is shared in between servers is the cash shop currency, which we're not talking about it now. You're just a free-to-play player, right? So it makes it a little bit more complicated, because you have to start putting items for sale on one server and then buying them with the other server's gold, so that you can give your gold to yourself, and there's a lot of fees. If you have 2 accounts, you can just, on the same server, you can just mail yourself some gold every week. Hey, I made this much gold from dailies, or this much gold from crafting and gathering. I apologize, Benley.
No.
I'm going to shut up for the next 20 minutes.
That was absolutely amazing. So we've got a couple of people saying that's a lot of stuff to remember, and Norgatron saying overwhelming. So yeah, that was a lot. But that's the kind of thing that I hope one of you wrote that all down, right? Is one of you from chat?
So by the way, guys who are watching, I apologize. That was overwhelming, and that's like 50% of it. But Ben Lee is the fault here, because he asked me about min-maxing. Now, this is overwhelming regardless in what game. So, yeah.
It's right. There's a lot of people that come into my streams and want to know what's the best way to do this. How can I gear up the fastest? So going through that was amazing, because there's a lot of things that I didn't even know. And what I found super interesting was 2 things. One about the second account. I know you said don't do that, but about like mailing gold, I didn't think about doing that. So there might be some people that do it. But yeah, a lot of work. And the second one was about the guild currency and saving that for tier 3, because of how important it can be there for those
Very risky.
Yeah, risky in case the system changes. But yeah, if you can have a better chance at upgrading something that's only got a 5% chance at like 1500 gear score or whatever it might be, then yeah, very interesting there. Okay, so a lighter-hearted one, because I said I wanted to split this into 2 things, like from a min-max, what to do at 50, and then things to do for fun, or maybe even things that like, you do, Sywo, for fun when you come in, for a casual player that's hit 50 in like a week and is just chilling a couple hours every day, coming in and wants to relax on the game. What would you recommend, maybe, or thoughts of things to do there, just for fun?
Okay, so what makes me the happiest, like warm inside, is gathering. Right? When you get your estate to a higher level, with your housing plot, your housing island, stronghold, however you wanna, when you get that to a higher level, then you can do all of your gathering for the energy of work that you have in your estate. However, before that, you go around the world, and I absolutely love fishing, I have to say. I also love mining and lumbering. I love them always since day one. I love to do the gathering dungeon, for example, with tickets, the platinum fields. Gathering in general in MMORPGs is just an absolute delight for me. I'm so relaxed when I do it, and this is the thing that I do for most, not fun, just happiness. Everything else for me is fun. Playing artillerist is really fun. Whatever I do, a chaos dungeon, an abyssal dungeon, playing summoner is really fun. So playing the classes that I enjoy, that's a lot of fun. And gathering is just a lot of happiness. I'm actually really glad that these days in Lost Ark you can just do whatever you want to do, and it's still fun. I don't feel like like I'm forced to do that Guardian raid if I just don't want to, or that I need to do it solo or with a group or anything like that. I'm just really happy that everything in Lost Ark is rewarding enough, but also at the same time, if you enjoy your class, it's really fun. If I do PvP, for example, which is something that unfortunately is a notion kind of long forgotten. I started out, I just did months upon months of PvP. It's just non-stop. And then, as I think I explained at the beginning, I kind of stopped. But PvP is another activity that it doesn't bring me fun or happiness necessarily. I mean, it does, but it's not the primary stat that I get from PvP. But I get a lot of hype and excitement from doing PvP, stuff that I don't get from an Abyssal Dungeon, even if it's hard or a Guardian Raid. So I get a variety of feelings from a variety of contents in the game. Yeah, but to me, if I would also have to name, let's say, my least favorite thing, would be the sea and water events. I like housing more than I like sea and water events. And that's for the very simple reason that they have been changed, very much streamlined. And in my opinion, as a player who has seen the old sea and water events, these are just
They're not, yeah.
whatever. Here's some more rewards for you, kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that, because I played at release. I jumped on Korea at release, and I know what you're talking about. You used to be able to send your hook down and like a diver down, wasn't it? And you'd see how far they would go down, that mini game, and that was kind of fun.
And there was so much more to sea and water events than there are now. Basically now, as I told you, they are on a calendar, and you go there 2 minutes before it starts, you join a party, and you start doing fun things around the water, like shooting your harpoon to kill squids and racing other people's boats. That's just something that was completely changed and streamlined for how it used to be, which is, it was changed because people in Korea felt like it was too much of a job. It had its own energy, same as Gathering has. It was called Energy of Luck. And with this Energy of Luck, there was 4,000 of it every day, plus items to recharge it. And you consumed X amount of Energy of Luck every time you did an activity on the sea. You didn't have to do diving. You didn't have to do treasure hunting. You didn't have to do shipwrecks or marine life hunting. You could choose whatever you wanted to spend. And various activities such as fishing on the sea, there was actually fishing, and this diving and the treasure hunt and the shipwrecks had various sailors that you could have started your journey that day on the sea with. And these sailors obviously came in different grades. And for example, there was boats that, for example, the Annika boat. Every time you jumped from a continent, you got the continent's boat, right? From the Mokoko village, you got the little Mokoko boat from Mokoko seeds, and then from Annika you got the fishing boat. Annika people are the Changhun port that's very known for fishing, right? And the boat that you got at the end of your story quest in Annika was designed for fishing, right? And the sailors, by the way, because that's how you tell if a boat was designed for this and that. But this is history. It's no longer in the game. I'm just saying because I was really extremely excited about it. One of my favorite parts of Lost Ark was the sea and water content as it was. And the sailors that you could have acquired from Annika as a continent were really good at fishing. They had all sorts of traits for fishing on the sea. More luck to get fish. You could have, if you had a really good sailor that you got through affinity with NPCs in Annika. A good sailor, you could have fished in eternal grade fishing spots as opposed to just doing the plebe, green and blue, and it was awesome. And various different boats and sailors had various different perks that helped you with diving, that helped you with whatever else. Mokoko people, sailors were very good at doing shipwrecks, increased the loot chances, and amazing.
That's great. But now with it, you've got like shoot the jellyfish kind of mini games, isn't it? And do the races and stuff. There's a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
there now. Okay, no, that was really good. And yeah, if you guys didn't know about that, it used to be in the game, but no longer anymore, unfortunately, because I myself found that really fun as well when I was on career at the start. All right, okay, so we move on. The other one, we've kind of touched on this with like the min maxing side, so up to you how much you want to go in depth with this, but like the importance of alts for like getting upgrade materials, but also like this is just another general question just for you because people are interested in stuff as well. How many alts do you plan on leveling? Do you have like a plan for launch?
Yeah. So during this closed beta, first of all, let me just answer the question. You don't need any alts, right? For the way the Western version appeared to be during the closed beta, minus the islands bug and the cash shop bug, then you really don't need. You're gonna hit the end of this particular patch in, I don't know, a month being casual, not even doing all the content for gear, and that's way before, let's say, another patch comes. By way before, I don't mean 9 months before, maybe, I don't know, 2 months before or a month before. So you don't need any. I personally, I can talk about myself. I personally level up several characters, not only because I enjoy the process of playing several classes. I have 2 classes that I enjoy playing, a summoner and an artillerist. So I at least want to have 2, one of each. But also because of the fact that I enjoy playing more of the content that I want to play at Endgame. If I would have one character, and this is part of this reasoning is me being, an old school kind of player, which doesn't necessarily apply these days. But if I would have just one character, I would kind of feel just a little bit forced into doing a lot of different kind of content in the game, just so I can keep up with maybe my real life friends, which we talked about it. It's not a big problem, but in time, it will start contributing to eventually in tier 3. And I know I'm going to be playing Lost Ark in tier 3. So in tier 3, just playing one character is going to funnel me in all sorts of activities. And I don't want to do Chaos Gates. I don't like them. So maybe I don't want to do some Guardian raids one day. I've done them so much that I just don't really necessarily see myself, I don't know, just doing this on a daily basis. And because I want to skip a couple of pieces of content in the game or not do them daily, I want to have 2 characters, 3. Personally, I think I'm going to settle with 3 characters. Or maybe 4 characters in total at level 50. As I talked, this is just me personally. Please don't do it. I'm going to have it on 2 different accounts because I already have 2 different Steam accounts purchased from before. Not purchased Steam accounts. I made my Steam accounts.
Yeah.
I purchased my founders packs, I wanted to say.
Yes.
So because of that, I will have 2 characters on each account. One account is probably going to have, I don't know, 2 of blaster or artillerist, and the other account is going to have 2 of summoner. So I want to enjoy Lost Ark on a daily basis, just doing the things I enjoy doing without having pressure that I need to play the Guardian raids or that I have to finish 20 extra Chaos Dungeons, which is, by the way, a content that I absolutely love, so I'm going to definitely do that. But just giving as an example in case you don't want to do this or that. I want to enjoy a little bit more PvP. So the way I can enjoy more PvP is maybe not feeling myself so bound to finishing all of the content in one day that's at specific times. Maybe I don't want to do some event islands for gold. Maybe I just want to finish 2 sets of daily quests for gold because I know my way around dailies, and I don't want to do Dookie Island for 50 gold. Maybe I want to take my chance on a bag of gold from the other dailies. And this is not a min-maxing thing. This is just me personally. I also want to play more of Lost Ark on a daily basis. So having more characters means I can do more Abyssal Dungeons, which for me and my real-life friends with whom I play, this is a nice challenging content to do. Maybe I want to do more chaos dungeons. Maybe I want to have an 8-hour stream just doing chaos dungeons on 2-3 different characters. This mindless content that I can look at chat, talk, and still get something, have some B-roll in the background. So this is just me.
Oh, that's good. Norgatron, thank you so much for the donation, by the way. He asks, Ben and Sywo, favorite legendary outfits. Now, for me, I've not looked into the outfits too much, so I wouldn't really be able to answer that. If I was to say from like the Platinum's founder pack, then personally I really like the Paladin one. So I'll leave my answer there. But do you have a favorite legendary outfit?
Let me retake a look on them. I'm gonna find this article right now. And I'm going to take another look at the outfits. I know for sure that I really like the summoner one, but I want to take a look at the artillerist one, so I can actually see the artillerist one as well. We can maybe talk about something else in the meantime. I'm gonna come back to this.
Yeah, that's fine. We've got one here. Can accounts share materials via the mail or other methods? So different accounts.
Yeah, why not? You can definitely do that.
Okay.
You can send stuff to other players. Thus, you can send stuff to yourself also.
But just through the mail.
So yeah, the legal rules on this, according to Steam, because Steam is the only one who can make rules on these accounts, because they are, after all, Steam accounts. They're not Lost Ark accounts. This is just a game that you play through Steam. You don't even need an Amazon account to actually, let's say, play the game through Steam or purchase a Founders Pack. You need it if you just go through their website or on the forums or whatever. So the Steam says that you cannot play more than one account at the same time. So.
Okay. That's fair.
Doesn't say anything about your brother playing it on this PC right here, or your wife, or anything like that. Oh my god, the artillerist avatar is just absolutely insane. So I like the artillerist as much as I like the summoner. The summoner, for me, the one that we're talking about the platinum avatars here.
I'm not sure if the question was just about them or if it was just favorite legendary outfits in the game, but I haven't specifically gone through legendary outfits in the game that have been out for. I mean, you've been playing it for a lot longer than I have, so I'm not sure if you've got one.
Right, so legendary avatar. Okay, so it's completely a different thing. I absolutely love the legendary avatar of a Lance Master, especially the Season 2 legendary avatar, which I actually reacted to. Gorgeous. That rice, typical Mongolian rice gathering hat that they have. It is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love in terms of legendary avatar. Also, the Berserker one, which is something that I did not know I love so much, the Season 2 legendary avatar for the Berserker. I didn't feel it while I was watching the video, but I saw someone with it in game, and god damn, when they draw their weapon, it's just like so beastly black, and it fits so well also with one of their engravings. Amazing.
Amazing. Thanks for that. Right, okay. Should we move on to the next question?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the next one was ways to get gold in tier 1 content, and is it important to focus? Now, we've talked a little bit about like the Unas, well, actually in depth, actually, about like the Unas tokens and about doing that to get gold, filling up, and getting the RNG weekly gold bag. But like, yeah, some people are wondering like how important maybe is gold in tier 1, because in tier 3 it's really important to upgrade your gear, but in tier 1 is it important to focus?
This is a good question, but at the same time, question that's really tough to answer. Simply because actually just recently, a couple of weeks ago, the game director addressed the inflation problem that is currently happening in Korea, and I presume in Russia as well. So at one point in Lost Ark there was too much gold, and now people just have gathered too much because of the alts. Reason why they have also changed the things that give us gold in tier 1 content, not specifically for our region. And by the way, this is a positive change. It's really nice that we are the first ever region who gets the updated version of this in terms of game content, but it also cuts down a little bit from the ways of making liquid gold in game. Without liquid gold, there is no way to for a free-to-play player to purchase cash shop diamonds, for example, without depositing their own real money. So, they talked about everything in the cash shop for us costing blue diamonds, and that's amazing because you can just go ahead and buy them as a free-to-play player by spending your in-game gold. Obviously, if gold is not going to be very found in terms of liquid sources of it in the game, then that's going to mean that the prices are going to be extremely low for kind of everything. I guess I'm not really big on economy, for example, so I cannot really have a solid opinion on how the economy is going to look. I can have a guess. But in terms of ways of making gold for us in the West, daily quests, I believe this is liquid gold. Yeah, daily quests are really, really important to get those bags of gold. Some people might get actually lucky to get the bag of 10,000. Some people not so much. Depends also which bag you exchange. Do you want the RNG or do you want like the fixed amount that you get from smaller bags? That's one way of making gold. There are some islands, the Event Island. Event Island, by the way, can be a series of islands. It's just part of an event that also gives you gold, right? You have it also in the calendar. The Dookie Island gives you gold, but this is, let's say, really few gold that it gives. And yeah, besides these and other one-time only sources of gold, not so much. They also changed, by the way, with this revised tier 1, which we're getting with this revised content for the start of Lost Ark. They've also changed the some affinity items that those gold coins that you used to open them and they gave you gold, and now they actually give you silver. There are still some one-time places from which you can get gold, like for example the guide quests, and there are some other quests as well out in the world. There's some, I believe, some affinity merchants still. I haven't looked through all of them, but I'm pretty sure I saw at least one which gave you a raw amount of gold. And I also think some collectibles. I'm not sure actually on this one, but maybe some of the masterpieces. Yeah, masterpieces. Collecting masterpieces also gives you gold from the NPC, but that's again a one-time thing, and it's really, really long, so you cannot rely on them. But yeah, I guess the Event Island, the daily quests, and also a couple of other islands which spawn on a constant basis, from which gold is a reward. And obviously, what everyone knows is that you can sell stuff on the auction house, right?
Yes, of course, yes.
But again, you sell stuff from the auction house, and Ben Lee is selling his potions to me. I just had to do dailies on 2 accounts in order to have enough money to buy Ben Lee's potions. So the price that you sell with depends on the amount of gold that can be made in game. Obviously, for the Western version, I don't expect anything to cost as much in terms of raw number as Russia or Korea, because they have started with completely different ways and much more ways of actually making gold. They are still thinking of ways to combat inflation now in Korea. So by the time we get to a point where this is important, because there's also a gold sink too, they were also thinking about a way to implement a gold store in game, like something that you open and it's just stuff for gold, right off the bat. No conversions, no player involvement. It's just a store. That's how much gold they have. And of course, then there is the other concern, which is people who want to deposit real money and sell their blue crystals. They're going to sell them to people who have somehow made some liquid gold, or people who have sold something interesting on the auction house to other people who have made liquid gold. So it's going to be interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely we'll see how that goes and how the economy kind of goes with the new system then. So yeah, it's interesting that because I've heard about the inflation issues, but I didn't know exactly like details in them and stuff. So that was interesting to know. And I guess guys will just see what it kind of happens. But yeah, I mean, going with gold, it can be important, obviously, and if you want to buy things off the auction house, it's important. But we're a bit limited then in how many ways we can get it. But then we've got like the one-time rewards and stuff. You're saying like affinity and stuff, so you can get like one-time rewards. Okay. The next one I had. Can I just ask how are you doing, by the way? Because we're like an hour and a half in. So are you still good to go with questions?
I'm doing great.
Amazing. Okay, so the importance of life skills, or is it more for fun? Now we've touched on life skills as well, and then somebody specifically asked in the stream yesterday for me, like, is it important to use all of your life energy every day? I guess that's more for min-maxing and stuff, but any thoughts on that, like the importance of life skills in general when you're playing?
Again, this beautiful version of Lost Ark that we're getting. One of the main reasons why it's so lovely to play Lost Ark in the West and in our Western region is simply because everything can be important if it's fun to you. Nothing that, like, I'm gonna say it again. There is nothing in the Western version of Lost Ark that you have to do in order to find joy in the version that we're getting. And I'm not sure if we should be thinking about the future, or if we should talk about tier 3, or if we should compare everything to wait, that big monster is coming and prepare this. We can also just take it as the version is, because we don't know how tier 3 is going to be westernized for us in the West. We don't know the changes, the big changes, by the way, which are coming to tier 3 later down the road. Right? Because they want to change it. They actually said in the latest article that we want to, from now on, at least, I don't know what they said, 6 months, a year, focus on making the current, which by that they mean tier 3, content better, and removing the bugs from it, and dealing with inflation, and dealing with, class balance, and dealing with the rewards from content, that it's too hard with too few rewards for people to be motivated, as opposed to adding new content, right? So we don't know how they're going to change it, because judging by Lost Ark's past, they've changed it, like flipped on the head 2 times, and here's the brand new Lost Ark for you. So to answer the question, the answer is very simple. If you're having fun gathering plants, you can also make a nice profit from it. If you hold off with your plants, if you hold off maybe a little bit with selling, you can still craft them, because obviously just keeping house energy or crafting energy just staying there is kind of, let's say, a loss of gold. But if you gather actively, and if you craft, and if you hold in your bank or hold in your inventory until people gather enough liquid gold for you to get more money out of it, and then start selling them, until then you can use them yourself, give stuff to your friends. But is it fun for you? For me, I love gathering. And then with that, obviously, I just send it to my house, craft it, and that's the end of it. So I love doing that. And that's why I'm going to do it. But again, besides making liquid gold, I don't see how anything else should be counted as mandatory, or you have to do chaos gates because of that, or you have to do sea and water events because of the pirate coins that you can exchange for materials. It's helpful, but do you want to do sea and water events? Is it fun for you to go there, or are you going to feel it that it's a chore which you do not need to take upon yourself? Level up another character, or make another account, do more dailies if that's better than sea and water events. Do more guardian raids, do more abyssal dungeons on other characters, than doing stuff that's just simply not not fun for you. Maybe also, arguably the guild currency on top of the the liquid gold kind of thing, and making gold for later. I guess the guild tokens might actually be a worthwhile investment, that even if maybe you don't necessarily like it, you should still join a guild, just an alt guild, right? Just contribute with a little bit of shillings, a little bit of gold, or a little bit of a quest if they have it unlocked, and then just get your Silmail things and chance it for later. But yeah.
That's it. No, that's great. So yeah, it's kind of like if it's important to you, because you get the sense that a lot of these questions, when people were asking me, a lot of people are either worried or interested, maybe that's the one, in like min-maxing. There's a lot of the community that don't want to fall behind, things like that. So that's why these questions are like the importance of, instead of that. But yeah, the importance is to you specific as a player. Like, is it fun? Is it an absolute chore and you hate doing it? And as you say, there's other things you can do then instead of doing your life energy stuff. If you don't want to go and fish and gather plants, you can do an ult and stuff. So that's really good information stuff there. Because
it's the same for making gold, really. You don't like dailies because it's a daily and you just hate it, or weeklies, or whatever guild dailies or guild quests. Then just don't do them. No, you're not going to get that liquid gold, but you can do something else and sell your things on the broker to someone that does get that liquid gold and wants to buy them. There's all sorts of ways.
Because the next one leading on from that was basically kind of the same question, but to do with the estate. So like it's just the specific one was the importance of the estate. Now we don't have to go into too much detail and things. It's up to you. But like it's and then it was like estate upgrades and the benefits, because I know you can upgrade your estate and then it helps with like crafting speed and other things like that. But I myself, it's one of the systems I've not delved into too much. I've hardly done anything, because you can have fun and you can plant down like benches and trees and other things and make your estate look really nice. But if someone was thinking like, is it important to do? Again, it's like a personal thing to yourself. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So if you're just thinking about the bottom line of an estate for like a hardcore Lost Ark player, then that comes in tier 3, when an estate, if it's upgraded sufficiently, it will give you % more chance to get lucky with an enchant, right? It just comes to that. The basic function of an estate, of a housing island in Lost Ark, stronghold, by the way, it's a stronghold, is to craft. This is where you do your crafting. There's no other place where you can craft the materials that you get. What some people do, they also use the estate on top of, if they don't want to craft themselves, if they don't want to gather themselves or fish or do whatever and get the mats, they also go to the auction house. They purchase the mats from other players who do crafting and gathering, and then come back to their estate and craft, for example, the gems that synthesize gear starting with tier 2, right? These gems can be crafted, they're tradable, and people buy them again from the auction house. So what people do is come to your estate, buy the materials that you need for these items from the auction house, use your energy to craft, and basically sell that energy and the 5-10 minutes of your time back on the auction house in the form of those of these materials to synthesize gear in tier 2 and onwards. And then later on in tier 3, as I was telling you, if the estate is upgraded enough, there's also this added benefit of extra chance that matters. Other than that, there's a lot to the estate. You can upgrade a lot of various places. There's a let's say a visual side of the estate where you can decorate your estate with a lot of interesting decoration items, which is something that I am very keen of. Obviously, everyone uses the estate to craft whatever it is, whether you buy the mats from the because generally if you generally purchasing potions from the auction house is more expensive than crafting them yourself, because someone has actually used some resources to craft them. So buying the mats for the potions and then crafting the potions yourself is, let's say, the normal way of doing things.
Yeah, that's brilliant. PC, thank you for the donation, my friend, as well. And he says, can you summarize your priorities when you hit 50? And it kind of leads into what my next question was, which again was from the community, was what to look out for at launch, like what to prioritize / focus on. And again, this is a question that's personal, and we've kind of touched up on a lot of these topics, but it depends. PC, for example, like if you wanted to be like a min-maxer, what to prioritize on, or someone who just wants to chill with it. I know you just said as well, I know you covered some of the systems at Endgame. Curious, what should be the priorities when newly hitting 50 in your GVG?
I'm gonna, while you answer this question, I'm going to go fast to the toilet.
Yeah, no problem at all. So we're newly hitting 50 in your GVG, just hit 50 on Are You Today. Been playing the game for 4 days. So again, like guys, I think with this, it comes down to what do you want out of the game for a player. If for example, you're talking about like my GVG guild, which is more focused on hardcore, right? Because for the GVG, which is the guild v guild content where item level matters, then if you fall behind, then you're going to get stomped by other players that haven't, other players, because the item level matters so much. You can just get one shot and you'll do like hardly any damage and they'll just bam, there's one kill you. So yeah, sorry about that. When at 50, things like your Chaos Dungeons, for example, your Guardian Raids, things that we've covered there, they're very important to get materials. Doing the islands, going around that we've talked about. I've got a video on my channel which was in beta, which was how to get to 500 gear score in a day, basically. Like if you were doing like 24 hours worth of just hardcore in it, you could get that, which was crazy. But Amazon have talked about in one of Sywo's streams, Rocks and stuff, we're talking about slowing that down anyway, because the islands have got like the Korean and like catch-up mechanics in, because they're in tier 3 content. So when you go and do them, you get a ton of materials, right? And we were getting that in beta for the build we had. So you can go do your Chaos Dungeons, do your Guardian Raids, make sure you're doing them. You can run Chaos Dungeons again, that we've talked about as well, to get more of the materials which you can then trade in. PvP you can do to get tokens to get more upgrade materials, and pirate coins as well. You can get more upgrade materials. There's all these things. So yeah, it comes down to what you want really. But if you're trying to hardcore it min-max, there's all these different things, and of course doing those islands as well. So go from there. Okie dokie. So yeah, the next question, Sywo, that I had, I know you munching on a banana for a minute, so chill with that for a second, my friend, was just talking about the collectibles. And again, we've kind of touched up on the different collectibles. You've got the Makoko seeds, giant hearts, island hearts, masterpieces. What's it? There's the leaves as well, and the stars. I can't remember the names off the hand of them, because again, it's content that I've not done too much of, but you'll have a lot more insight on that, Sywo, than I. So, it was like, what collectibles are there, and maybe more so geared towards like tier 1, because I know as they expanded, right, Sywo, they added more collectibles, didn't they? So is it like is it a good thing, as we kind of said? Is it good to focus? Was kind of the question. Oh, you've muted.
No, I'm joking. I was just messing with you, Bentley.
Fair enough.
I'm joking. Okay, so right, yeah, they've added more collectibles from when we started off the game, but in general, collectibles that are let's say more important for your progression or your character's progression, they are the giant hearts, because they give you some runes, they give you some skill points. These marks of Ignia, as they are translated, so giant hearts, you get them from a variety of places in the game. Some of them from reputation, some of them you buy them with sea and water tokens, some of them you get them from the dungeons. And these marks of Ignia, as I was saying, you get them at the end. You get one per the end of finishing a map in terms of achievements. So when you finish a map completion for a map, You finish it off at 100%, you get one of these marks. And at specific stages, there's not very many of them. By the way, I really love, personally, the mount that you get from these marks for one mark of Agnia. It's a Scarab Mount that was very unique back in the days in Korea. I believe it came from the Founders Packs, and very few people, let's say, that play now still have this Scarab Mount. We can get it from these marks from achieving one of them, so it's really nice. It's a lovely mount. And then lastly, the third collectible. Actually, let me just open the collectibles here. The third collectible, besides the Giant's Hearts and this, that is actually it's just these. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just these. The master, just these two. The master, the Island Hearts. Sorry, what am I talking about? Oh my God. The Island Hearts, which you get by finishing the story quest on, or series of quests on each of these 70 islands, by the way, that we're getting. They also, at specific points, you get very nice rewards for character progression. From the Island Hearts, you get, again, a rune and a skill point potion. That gives you 6 more skill points. Rest of them, like the masterpieces that we have, the Mokoko seeds, the world tree leaves that you get from, that's going to be very hard for me to do because I just hate hunting in Lost Ark. So you have to max out that profession also to get the leaf from there. Regardless, these are not as important for character progression, so for min-maxing, but they give you a lot of nice, interesting rewards, such as sailors that you can have better expeditions with from your housing plot. We didn't touch upon this topic when we talked about the housing, but there's also that kind of feature. Housing plot can complete, let's say, content for you, like a Guardian raid or like an Abyss dungeon. You can set up your house and your crew, your expedition, to just complete it without you actually playing it, which for me personally, I know it sounds like weird, right? That you can complete a Guardian raid fight if you're not doing it, right? But in reality, for me personally, as a player who has done these tiers of Guardian raids already to a point of just puking, it's nice that I can just send my house to do my Urnil, as opposed to just me going in there and doing it myself, right? So yeah, collectibles important. Some of them more important for min-maxing than others. And it's going to be a lovely end game in the West if gear progression continues to be a little bit more sped up like it is now, because the end game content is actually kind of going to be focused around these collectibles and doing them. So that means there's going to be a lot of people coming back to previous zones, going to islands. It's really, really sad, by the way, when you don't have enough or a blob of people doing an island event or an island, let's say, chain of quests that eventually leads you to an event for a song, for example. It's just very sad if it's just you. So having this being very purposeful at end game and not having to worry so much about your gear and your rune fragments, I believe it's going to make for a very nice, different kind of end game than the old players are used to, but very cool for new players, as long as they understand that this is what's happening, and not that, okay, so I've played Lost Ark for 3 weeks, I've finished the game, I got max gear, see you in the next patch. This is not the mentality that should be promoted, but yeah, we'll see.
No, that's amazing. I'll just answer a couple of things here. So Norgatron, again, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. He says, come on, boys, do a shot in the Ark. So I've got a scene where I actually on my stream that I bring where I actually have a tavern, and I've called it the Ark Tavern, and then, so it's just a bit of fun there. And I do like shots of beer and stuff, just like those things. But I'm not drinking at the minute. I'm actually on antibiotics right now, so I can't drink them anyway. But yeah, we're not going to be drinking. Thank you so much for the donation, though, Norgatron. Another one we've got from is it I struggle to say your name. Rosborski, I think it is. Will you be talking about PvP content during the stream? So I've done a pure PvP talk with my first Artcast, which was with Lino. So that's on the channel already, which was literally talking about all PvP and talking about like every single class we went through and talked about the advantages of them, like what they're good at, what they're bad at, and how to counter them. And a lot of people have found that very useful because Lino's got a ton of knowledge stuff. So I do have that one if you want to watch that at some point. Okay, so I'll just let Sywo finish his banana a second. Do you need to have a DP?
You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for me to finish my banana. I can just talk with my mouth full. It's fine.
Right. Okay. The next question I had then was about the card system, because it was like the card system. Is it easy? Was the question. Is it easy to collect cards, and maybe a few different ways you know how to get them? Because the cards basically give you passive buffs. And again, I know some about the cards, and I haven't gone into in-depth stuff with it. But maybe just a bit of information about it. Are they easy to collect, ways to get them, and maybe some that are strong that you know of, or anything like that?
Yes. So to me, cards have always just arrived in my bag. I never was focused on the card system, except when it was in the previous version of it. Again, something that I really liked about Lost Ark is where you could do card battles. Where I'm not gonna get into that. It was lovely, by the way. But now it's a completely different thing where you just get passive bonuses, like you guys know. Cards easy to get or hard to get. I would say they're hard to get. Not because you have to do some incredibly difficult raid boss in order to get a card, but because it takes, in many cases, a lot of time to keep getting acquainted to an NPC, to get that particular card, or to keep farming a particular place that gives you let's say a box with a random eternal card, fabled yellow quality card. Maybe you keep getting doubles of your own card, so you want to keep farming that particular place, and eventually nobody ever does something for a card drop, because generally drops of cards are in content that you do anyways, right? So you just get them in your bag. And yes, they do give you some passive bonuses. Obviously, having 5% more HP eventually is good. 5% more HP when the content is, let's say, not so difficult, is not necessarily going to help you. 5% more HP is not necessarily going to help you if you don't have any pots with you. You're not going to survive because of that 5% more HP, or that 20% less damage from an insect-based raid boss, guardian raid boss. So it's all together. It works all together. More important later on, I would say, than in tier 1 content. And by that time, you're going to have plenty of them. Also, they are given out from login rewards. They're also tradable on the broker. I'm not sure if every single card is tradable, but I'm not sure if the ones from Affinity are tradable. I don't think so. But you can find most of them also from other players if you just want to, let's say, spend some gold. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, brilliant on that. So yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. What I've been doing it, cards, as you're saying, I think you nailed it on the head. Cards just arrive in your bag, because as you're doing content, you're like, oh, I've got one there and another one there, and you just get a random chance with it. So yeah, okay, with that one, thank you so much, Sywo. The next question was about gear engravings and the importance in tier 1 specifically, because in tier 3 they're really important, and to the point where sometimes when you're looking, in my experience, sometimes when you're looking for a group, they'll and you go to like join one of the groups, they'll inspect you and go, oh, okay, this person hasn't got many engravings, and they won't take you into the group. But in tier 1, I've heard some people say that they're really important, and some people say that not so much, because the content's a little bit say potentially easier than the tier 3 content. Any thoughts on that, how important they are?
Well, I mean, you would be surprised. Yesterday on my stream, I was trying to finish the tier 1, the last boss in tier 1 solo. I was playing this sorcerer's character that I had, and I actually failed twice. I died more times than needed. So there you go. Maybe I'm just not good enough for tier 1. But of course, tier 1 in particular, that's not the hard part. Tier 2 is a little bit harder, but there's also Abyssal Dungeons, right? These engravings, they count in Abyssal Dungeons as well. More important is for you to know how to do the mechanics as opposed to you having the engravings. However, there are some classes which benefit quite a lot from engravings. For example, if we're going to get the sorcerers, that is a class that feels twice as fun and twice as better and becomes twice as easy to really shine on once you have yourself the supercharge engraving, which increases the speed of your charging skills, right? Which sorcerers has quite many in a good DPS build. So it's also about how you feel in particular on a class. A class can feel completely different with a level 3 a supercharge, a class obviously on top of the engravings that everyone talks about, like for example grudge, right? You do more damage just to bosses. That's nice. Now that one is something that we can talk about as not being needed in the tier 1 content that we're getting. But there are other engravings which I think are really, really nice to have. Spirit absorption, for example, more movement speed. Now, until you get your accessories with like perfect stats, more movement speed is really nice to have, because very many classes just feel slow. You're walking out, you know, you don't have a dash, you're a new player, you've dashed around pointlessly, and then comes a gigantic red telegraph that you just need to walk behind the boss. It's not that far, but you're not gonna make it, right? Maybe you're slow from a puddle or whatnot. A spirit absorption engraving actually really genuinely helps you like the game more, especially when you're new to it, as opposed to not having it. And also your class, not to mention. Not every class has two mobility skills plus a dash like a scrapper in their core build. Not every class has another 2 mobilities like maybe a war dancer in their core. Some classes are actually pretty slow, having more movement speed, and on top of some couple of traits that I can tell you, for example, on my summoner with spirit absorption right after you hit 50, and then focus on a couple of class specific engravings. That's all you need for the summoner to really open up to you and just really feel that your minions are lasting longer and that you have them out for longer because of the class engravings. You also feel that you can use your innate skills, the beautiful ones, the Alimage, the Phoenix, you can use them more often, and with more movement speed plus the skill that you have, the Shreddy, and that gives you 10% more plus the spirit absorption. It really feels like a playable class in a little bit more fast-paced content, or a class that can also cast its skills and at the same time have enough time to move away from a simple claw punch from Urnil or whatever Naxrena later on in tier 2. So yeah, I don't know if someone should be declined for not having Backstab Master or I have a brain fart, the one that does more damage
Grudge.
to bosses. Grudge. Yeah. So because doing damage is not what we should be focusing on as a brand new release. We should be focusing on avoiding mechanics. Me personally, I would take in my group someone that has a spirit absorption, because I know he's faster and could potentially die less than someone who has focused because of a guide on getting grudge. And he has grudge, but he's on the floor having a grudge with the boss. This is just an example. Of course, generally people who get grudge first are some sort of masters at Lost Ark. They've played it for years, so I get it. But as a new player, for you to like the game more, perform better in it, you need mechanics and you need potions. And afterwards, you need grudge. So for mechanics, you can avoid them faster by being faster yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, because this is it, and I think that's a really good way, because there isn't any one specific way to build a character. There might be like a min-max for damage, but you can't deal damage if you're dead. And I've got this on my Scrapper in Russia. I've got Curse Doll and Grudge. Basically, I heal less, and I take more damage. So it's a real kind of glass cannon build, which can be tough sometimes because as soon as you start getting hit, then you can die really fast. As opposed to if I dropped a grudge or dropped curse style and took spirit absorption, which is another way of doing it, for example. Then I might survive more, and surviving can definitely help you obviously win raids, because if you're dead, then you can't do damage. So
again, these are just like ideas for new players. I don't want to be the guy in Lost Ark who says don't get grudge because I'm gonna get murdered. Of course you're gonna get grudge. It's the best imprint ever, period. However, if you're new, on top of the fact that it's going to be very expensive and it's not like you can do that particular dungeon and get grudge from there, you just do stuff, and if you're lucky you get, if you don't, you don't. People who have grudge fast are going to be people who purchase grudge from the auction house. So again, as a new player, assuming you're spending money on the auction house to get grudge because you saw it in a guide, that's the top tier S tier engraving, which it is. No, I'd rather,
yeah,
I'd rather do it a little bit later,
Yeah,
or
that's fair.
maybe wait until I get enough pieces of grudge myself and then just buy 25% of them from the auction house and do it like that.
Yeah, and then you can slowly build your way up. Definitely good. Okay, we are getting towards the end of my questions. I know there's loads, Sywo, so I appreciate how much time and stuff you've put into this. And again, I'll say, because we've just gone past 2 hours. Are you still good to keep going, or do you want to call it there? It's up to you.
No, let's stop. That's it. Goodbye.
Okay. No, it's all good. I know there's a lot, you're talking a lot, and it's probably mentally exhausting. So I really appreciate the time, and I'm sure.
Yeah, someone said in the chat, Aurelian said, fellow Romanian, by the way. Let's see how many hours Sywo can talk about Lost Ark. I can talk forever. One of the negative, let's say one of the criticisms I get for when I'm having my podcast, The Ark, is the fact that I talk too much. I have too long intros and I talk too much. Why are you answering questions yourself? And I'm saying that, dude, it's a podcast. It's not an interview. But I also love talking about the Lost Ark. So.
No, it was great for me because I've got so many questions, and of course we can
Pirate
go to
coins.
some. Yes,
you had an interesting one. Are pirate coins more important than gold?
That was my next question. So yes, go for it. What do you reckon?
This is an interesting question, actually.
This is at the start, by the way. We're kind of talking in tier 1, and I actually, funnily enough, to a shout out to Choi, another streamer and stuff. It was in his stream that he was talking about, like, are they more important than gold because you can get upgrade materials and stuff for them, and he was on the side of yes. So just any thoughts on that?
The thing is, just to give a little bit of context here. So from pirate coins, not only you get upgrading materials from them, they're of course capped on a weekly basis. But interestingly enough, they're tradable, right? So you can sell them from pirate coins. Second thing that's interesting with the current way the pirate coins are working is the fact that that every character that you have on your account can go ahead and spend pirate coins to purchase these weekly capped materials, tradable. And lastly, how all of these things are combined together is the fact that the pirate coin stash is server-wide. So, you do these marine events on one character, and then all of your characters can go ahead and purchase the rewards from pirate coins. I never stood like I never thought to make an inventory on how many pirate coins you can actually acquire. But I know this for sure, that if you do every single marine event at every single hour, assuming that you can always be awake, right, when those things are happening, and not have a job, and it's at 3 p.m. Sure, at 3 p.m. I'm going to be there, do it. Then I'm pretty sure that you get more pirate coins than one character can spend. So spending these pirate coins, the batch on 2 characters or 3 characters, on tradable gear upgrading materials, that might be actually something to look forward to. yeah, other places that you can spend, let's say, pirate coins have actually been sort of removed. There is another island, I believe. I'm not sure. Let me see. It's in the east side of things, in Pirates Cove, I believe, the one that's Pirate Village Atlas. The Atlas Island, I believe there you can also spend pirate coins on purchasing seal books, by the way, engravings. So that's also on a weekly kind of cap. I've never purchased those engravings on Atlas on 2 different characters, right? So I can see if, but I believe it works again on 2 different characters because generally, and also just wanted to say, which is something pretty important, not sure if it's going to come straight from the get-go or later on. Also from pirate coins, you can buy yourself experience, like combat experience. Assuming you need to be at the entry point of tier 3, let's say, gearing up process, but you can spend pirate coins. You know what? I'm actually so curious if there are items from the merchants that you go and spend pirate coins at, the same merchants that give you gear upgrading materials. There is also an item that gives you raw XP. You're not going to use this from level 1, of course. You can use it after 50, but it's very important to get from 50 to 55, and this process generally takes months, and you get some pretty nice perks if you're 55. More skill points, the possibility to add more skill points into a skill, which dramatically increases the dramatically. It's not dramatically. You get overall generally 10% if you're 55. A level 50 compared to a level 55 gets 10% more damage, which obviously is quite a lot, right? Let's see. Yeah, actually, it's starting from tier 2. There are combat experience potions, so potions that give you XP, starting with tier 2. And there is also one starting with tier 3. So at tier 2, we will be able to spend on these. These are account bound, by the way, so not every character can come and buy them. But yeah, this is an interesting thing. So I still don't think that pirate coins are more important than gold in that sense, than liquid gold, to be precise. Because obviously, if you're thinking about making a profit from the auction house, then you should absolutely come here and just buy on 2-3 characters all of these rewards every week and just throw them on the broker, right, for people to buy. But unfortunately, this again depends on the economy, how our economy is going to look. If they're going to be so cheap because everyone already has 2 characters filled up at item level 600, so nobody really cares about these tier 1 materials. People already have in the stash, people that want to play a future class and they know it, they already have plenty of tier 1 materials for that class stacked away. So, with so many materials being in circulation, another big way of getting materials, which by the way is pirate coins, is not more important than gold, because there is too many gear enchantment materials and too few gold. Gold is priceless because you can purchase things from the auction house. So pirate coins that you can get more things to sell on the auction house is not more important than the currency with which you buy stuff from the auction house.
Very well explained. No, that's good. It was just a really interesting one because, yeah, of course you can rush some pirate coins and then you can get some upgrade materials and things like that. But yeah, gold is always going to be a really significant and limited factor in the game, isn't it? So with that, okay.
Also, to be noted that for in order to get these pirate coins, because you don't just get them from these marine events, you have pirate coins in your bag. It's just a very small amount of them. You actually get them by exchanging that specific side of the seas token to pirate coins at a merchant that's on the sea as well. So it's also that comes in, it's also this that comes into play, the fact that these sea tokens that you get from marine events can also be used. For example, I think you need 6,000 or 7,000 of them to get 2 giant hearts. giant hearts, which later on gives you, let's say, more skill points, more development for your character. And if you're going to spend your pirate coins on gear, enchantment materials, to put them more on the broker, to contribute even more to the tens of thousands of materials. Yeah, with people not making enough gold, then yeah, I would, I guess. But it's complicated because with pirate coins you can do other things as well, such as, for example, purchase the design for the pirate ship. That's another story. Jesus Christ! Before, actually, I'm not gonna talk about this. No? It's too long and it's pointless. Too long and pointless. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no worries too. All right, so yeah, I'm basically just onto my like extra questions now, and then we can get some from the stream stuff in a minute, because this was another one. Thoughts on when, or maybe you might know historically when the servers have launched, because obviously you've been covering it for so long. Thoughts on when boosting a character might be available. So when you like swipe and then boost a character to 50, for example, how long after release? Any ideas or thoughts on that?
So this cannot be taken, let's say, in a historical way, because this boosting to 50 is an idea that came later to the Korean servers. So it cannot be just taken one-to-one. But generally speaking, I believe that when we pass tier 1, right, and we start tier 2, then there will be boosts to the Vern boost, which gives you a full set of 302 item level. It finishes the Vern quests and the Shoeshire quests as well. It leaves you before Rohendel because you need 460 to go there. And everyone else that has played so far is starting with tier 2. So they already have item level 600, and they're going to enter the Yorn Chaos Dungeons to get the starting blue gear of 802, right, with their 600 item level set. So then at that point, I'm 100% sure there's going to be boosts to Vern, same as the power pass that we had so far, so that other people can also, let's say, skip the leveling process and start catching up to everyone else, which is already doing tier 2 content. And then the same is going to happen when we finish tier 2 and we get into tier 3. There's going to be boosts to item level 800, right? So even your alts could potentially benefit from this, depending how expensive it's going to be. And actually it depends how difficult it is to enchant your gear to get from one tier to the other. But seeing how relatively easy it is to get past tier 1 these days into tier 2, then I think these boosts will have a lesser value than they used to have when they were released initially in Korea and Russia, just because it's really not a big deal, as opposed to paying, I don't know, $15, because I believe that's how much it costs. I'm actually going to check right now. So as opposed to paying $15, you can paying $15 actually to skip the leveling process is a blessing. I'm just going to say it as it is. But paying $30 to skip the leveling process and not only get to Vern, but also get to Yorn, which is the beginning of tier 2, that might actually not be so interesting, because getting past tier 1 should not take so much. So now there's discounts in Korea, but getting to Rohendel, for example, boosting to Rohendel costs $25, and then boosting to Yorn costs $37. Yorn being tier 2 and Rohendel being tier 1.5. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, it's good, because there's a lot of people, and again, it's just being in the streams and things, people coming in and just going like, oh man, I can't wait, when can I swipe? It was just a big community question, because people want to, a lot of people have done either touched in Korea playing, or in Russia, or just can't be bothered to do the leveling, like leveling the characters. So there's a lot of people that are very keen for this. So I was just curious really on thoughts, or if there was any kind of historical thing. But as you say, it wasn't out with Korea at launch, so it's hard to
Yeah.
go on for that.
Yeah, for us it's going to be more of a stable thing. As we pass a tier, we can get a boost. I'm not sure if they're gonna add this boost also for Rohendel, so I'm not sure if by the time everyone is 460, which should be week 2 for the old school players, maybe week 3 for everyone else. Not sure if they're gonna add the boost right there, like 3 weeks into release. Yeah, again, I'm too stupid to understand the impact of this boost being there in release. I actually found it quite interesting in the closed beta to have it there, so that other people can just skip this, pressing G, leveling up content, and just get to a place where they can do a couple of at a bare minimum, just item level 302 at 50, and they can grind themselves to 340 to open up a harder kind of content like the Abyssal Dungeons. So I'm not against it. I just don't want the game to look bad because it has it, or the company to look greedy because all of a sudden there's a level boost here that we can buy with real money, and oh my god, look at this and that. People react in these kinds of ways. If everyone would be happy about it, like, hey, I can skip the leveling up process, but then I would be fine with it. But I'm pretty sure that people are going to say that why create a problem so you can sell an item to fix it, and then we get into the pay to win topic. So as long as people are happy, and as long as it's something that will be widely understood by the players why it's there, everyone, including the new ones, are going to be, okay, I get it. I've leveled up in this past 2 months 3 characters to level 50. I went through enchanting. I understand now why these boosts are here available. I can buy it with my gold, maybe, if that's going to be a thing. So yeah,
Okay.
as long as the game is happy,
Yeah, I mean, I think from my thoughts and from what I've had feedback wise from viewers and things, is people are very keen for it just to skip the leveling process. It's not even particularly like a min-maxing thing. It's just some people love doing the leveling and doing the story, which is great and stuff. Other people like do it once and they just want to skip right through, so are keen for the option. So I guess we'll just see what Amazon do and when it comes out.
The thing is, we didn't have these leveling boosts when we started in Korea. I didn't have any leveling boosts when I played Aeon, when I played Terra, when I played all of these games from the get-go in the first couple of years, or in the first many years. There was no boosts to level up. So even though I understand the need of older players, because same as myself, I've leveled up tens of characters, not boosted, just normally. I would personally like it. I would use it. I would pay money for it. I think it's a positive item. It's something nice. But if it doesn't look good for the game, and if it makes some people unhappy, then why do it? They can just remove the leveling up process altogether. But then some other people will be like, hey, I don't understand the game. There was no story. I wasn't able to play through it. So why is no leveling up in Lost Ark? Well, so we wouldn't have to sell an item for the people who don't want to level up normally. And then it's a discussion. Community gets split up. It's just you cannot please everyone.
That's exactly it. You can't please everyone there. Okay, no, that's cool. Okay, if we move on, I've got two more little things here. One is there's a conspiracy, if you will, or a rumor going around about will the game be launching on the 11th or 13th of January. So I heard something about it. Someone came in and said maybe like a Spanish streamer or something, like leaked about this. Have you heard about this? Do you know about people talking about this?
So I've also had people telling me that some other bigger streamers know the date, and granted, maybe they did know it in like before this closed beta. There was a rumor, which I also heard, that it was the 11th of, not 11th, sorry, after the middle of January, so after the 15th, but in January, right? That was the rumor before the closed beta. Now, the rumor that came after the closed beta, after seeing the feedback and after seeing these at the bare minimum these translations, but people have other concerns as well, such as the censorship, such as the bugs with the cache up and stuff, which can be easily fixed. I believe islands and cache up easily fixable. After the closed beta, the new rumor is 11th of February. That's a Friday, and that sort of makes, in a way, sense if they want to do it before a weekend. At the same time, it doesn't really make sense because generally it's in a day in which we have also the reset, right? Because there's also like a reset on Thursdays, I believe, is going to be for us. Generally, it's on Wednesdays, at least for the Korean region. But yeah, 11th of February is what I have heard. What I have heard, the initial January release to have been postponed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I mean, for me, the earlier the better. January the 1st, I've got my fingers crossed. January the 1st, yes, please. That'd be great. New year, let's go. Let's all jump on board Lost Ark and have a blast. It'd be great. Okay,
New Year's stream, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll jump on that. My missus might hate me for it, but but I would do it. Okay, so yeah, the last question I had was one of that again. I've not touched on this at all. It's about like transmog and dyeing clothes. Do you have much information on that? Because I know you can get like dye items to change color of stuff, but again, it's a system I've not looked into yet.
So what I know is that, at least what I've heard, is that the actual release of the game is going to have more stuff in it. I'm not going to say, let's say, content. They just said stuff. More stuff in it is going to be later on in release. Now, if by stuff they also mean this dyeing system, that's also an option. The only thing that Lost Ark has is this transmog thing, which, same as many other little convenience/appearance things in Lost Ark, costs a little bit of real money, or a little bit of blue diamonds, if I may call it like that. Blue diamonds, which you can purchase with in-game gold. However, gold, for the tier 1 revised content, liquid gold, is not really sitting there on the fence for you to make 6 alts and be a millionaire anymore. So because of that, I'm not sure how many of these systems. We already have the housing system that has a blue diamond, let's say, alternative, let's call it like that, to just waiting 12 hours. You can instantly complete a task or an expedition or a process of upgrading by just paying some blue diamonds. We have the Abyssal Dungeons, which, as far as I've seen from other people who have played it, they consider this as the hardest content in game. This is the end game for them, the Abyssal Dungeons, which, judging by the difficulty of everything else in the tier 1 content, from Guardian Raids to Chaos Dungeons to everything else, then yes, the Abyssal Dungeons are the hardest, let's say, to finish. And they also have a price of blue diamonds. I'm not sure what's better, to give people the option to color and add a pattern to their to specific skins that are 100% of them purchased from the cash shop in our release. And there's also an option, of course, to craft a couple of skins with the dyeing system, more in Korea, probably less for us. So I'm not quite sure what's better, to have this system or not to have it just later. It's not really such a big deal, to be fair. They sell very nice skins as they are in the cash shop, assuming that we're going to get, what Korea has, not like maybe the covered up versions or the censor, just for people to really get the true experience of what we have in Korea and Russia, or have had for years. But yeah, a nice transmog system, no such thing, unfortunately, in Lost Ark. Yeah, there is this one, but not that nice.
Not full on. Okay, no, thank you for doing that. I mean, I'm out of that's my questions done, and we're 2.5 hours in. So, I mean, massive thank you for
Perfect.
everything you've done so far. Is there anything else you want to touch up on? I mean, and it's up to you. Again, we can keep going for a minute, maybe grab a few questions, or if you're feeling a bit burnt out, we can call it there.
I'm not burned out. Absolutely. I don't want to add anything myself either. I think we talked a lot about some nice things, some important things, some things just just to get a little bit of an overview. Some stuff that people were asking, not only me but you as well. But if anyone in any chat, I only see the YouTube one, but if anyone in any chat has any questions, specific ones.
Okay. So we've got Daltok says, is it even important to try to max out gear, that's like for stats and engravings in tier 1 if we're gonna have to reset for tier 2 anyways?
Well, let's say in order to get to a point where you reset in tier 2, you have to get yourself the armor and the weapons at least of tier 1. Playing an MMORPG with the knowledge that you know what's coming, maybe you don't know when, maybe in 2 months, maybe in 4 months, it sucks. And I feel you. I also feel like doing nothing until tier 3, then boosting to 1100, starting with tier 3 from the get-go. But there is so much potential, and so you can pave your way towards tier 3, starting with now, and having fun also with the classes, with the PvP, trying several. And you can pave your way so nicely to tier 3 by putting aside, keeping some consumables, some pots, some enchantment materials, some this and that, ship upgrading materials, etc. That you're going to have so much better time with future patches, tier 2, tier 3, than you would have had before this. It's really, really nice. You don't maxing out in terms of let's say accessories, right? And going absolutely crazy ham on the perfect stats on each piece of your accessories. Sure, that might not be the effort of spending thousands of gold or tens of thousands of gold on the auction house purchasing, accessories from other players that have your, swiftness and critical strike. Maybe you have yourself a piece with swiftness and endurance. I mean, just keep that until you get maybe something better. So going full ham, absolutely crazy ham, no, because we all know, and it would be stupid of us to pretend that we don't know what's coming in the past, or to pretend in the future, or to pretend that we don't know that tier 3 is going to last for over a year, maybe even 2, because at the moment they have no plans, none whatsoever in Korea. It's not even under discussion that they will go to tier 4, and they've already had tier 3 for quite many months. We are also going to have a similar kind of process. So we shouldn't pretend that tier 3 is not coming and it's not something that's going to last us for at least 9 months, and get ready for that. But that's what I would do. But in order to do that, you need your gear to be enchanted to plus, 15, however it was for the threshold.
Yeah, no, I think that's solid, because after you go after.
By the way, sorry, excuse me, Bentley. About the engravings, I also wanted to mention. You get some engravings. It's a fantastic time to get engravings, by the way, now at the beginning when people don't have a lot of liquid gold. You get them, you have them forever. So the engraving that you get on your accessories, sure, as I said, one stat missing, especially if it's not a necklace. If you have a really cool necklace, but one of your rings is, I don't know, subdue and endurance, who cares, right? It's a ring after all. It's not, or quality to go for that. But engravings, you get them now, you have them for tier 3, and they're the same engravings. It's the same grudge. It's the same spirit absorption. So such a fantastic opportunity for people who have played to really think about the future and think about, like we discussed with the guild crystals, with these engravings, with
Yeah, like, and getting yourself prepped for the future. Absolutely.
And by the way, another thing that I want you to mention, I want to mention about this topic is that later on in tier 3, of course, they said that they want to change this so that players have more choice in terms of what kind of content they do. Because right now players are, let's say, farming these end game raids for like hours in a row. Now later on, you won't have as much time to do this side content, to level up these characters and put stuff aside, or to just do something on the broker to make yourself enough money for a very quick perfect engraving, because you will also be busy in doing or keep attempting and failing the same kind of content for hours in a row, as opposed to now where it's just a quick in and out. Let's do something else also, stack up on some pirate coins, stack up on some guild things.
Yeah, because the raids do get quite tricky and mechanically very interesting as you get through the higher ones. And I think that looks great. The end game stuff in tier 3 is absolutely fantastic. Okay, let me have a little look for some more questions. Oh, here's one, because we were talking about like content and not having like tier 4 and stuff. Because there is information out about a new PvP zone coming out, isn't there? And
Yeah.
they say about a new zone with free PvP. Is it going to be PvE gear, or is it going to be normalized? Do you have any information on that for this new continent?
No, nobody has. Yeah, they were supposed to release at least some information about it this year, but I'm assuming that because they wanted to push out so many new raids, which had to have a lot of thought put into it, which by the way they apologized for now to the Korean players, that it was so much content and so many new mechanics to learn every other month or every month. They had a new Legion raid or whatnot. So they apologized for that. And the open world PvP in the traditional sense of the world, where there's a full map like Lutera, for example, not the castle, but the whole thing, like South Bern, is going to be available for open world PvP. What kind of open world PvP? Is it going to be like a map with garrisons, a map with some sieges in the weekend with specific times, or trebuchets, or just like open world ganking kind of thing with objectives to defend a horse that's running and giving some fake supplies to some, we don't know anything about how they're going to do it. We also don't know anything about if gear is going to matter there. What I'm the most interested in regarding to this open world zone is besides the obvious, right? Like, how is it going to be? What are the objectives there? Or are they garrison bases, or we fight? Or besides that, I'm very interested in the meta that this open world PvP is going to create amongst classes, because it's going to be interesting how how like an artillerist, or I don't know, a summoner would be able to just like roam there, and classes that, for example, have stealth, like the sharpshooter or the reaper. Are they going to be, let's say, dominating this with the element of surprise? Or it's going to be very interesting. I'm very interested in like how the whole feel of it is going to be, and what classes are going to be nice there. And very exciting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really good, because there are islands where you could do open world PvP. There's like events and things that you can do, and for it, I've only done one. I did it on the beta, and there was only like 5 people running around, and it was a bit of fun, and gear score matters and stuff. But yeah, I'm very curious with this map and how they do it.
They've actually equalized let's say gear for these islands also that have events during the event.
Okay, no, that's definitely good to know.
But nobody goes there. You're gonna go there once or twice, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so I think it's pronounced, is it Vaya? Says earlier on you were talking about the importance of a guild. Is it difficult to create and manage one? Do we need at least X amount of people for it to be viable? Do you know much about that? with the guilds?
No, but you do.
Yeah, so my journey with guilds and things is picking up at the moment, and we've got quite a few guilds and stuff in my Discord that we've been putting together to give you a bit more insight, and like people in the guilds and people that come to my stream know about this. I actually do have another interview coming up whenever Tea Party is with Tea Party Percy, who does a lot of guild content. Really, really, really nice content creator, by the way, and massive shout out to him. But he does a lot of guild and GVG stuff, and I'm going to be doing another artcast with him that's going to be solely focused on all the guild stuff, GVG, GVE, like what classes might be good for this and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be one to come up a bit more. But at the moment, from like my perspective, we've just been started. It's been growing rapidly, and we've got about 5. I think we're just about to hit guild 6. It's been filling up really, really quickly. And now we're trying to, because there's been such a big influx of players, isn't there, Sywo, from beta, and just trying to give like information like this and doing a podcast like this, which again I can't thank you enough for, just to be able to get out some good information and some good overviews of some of the systems and stuff and what people could expect. It's great. So yeah, that one.
Yeah,
will be coming up.
it's very nice to come and talk about Lost Ark. Always very happy. Sadly for me, days are either it's a normal day, so that's a day in which I can do something, some content, record a video, I have a stream, or it's like just one of the many, just like I'm dead kind of days. But yeah, today was a good one.
Yes.
At the sacrifice of my lovely wife, which took on the children responsibility, so I can sleep a couple of hours. So yeah, shout out to my wife.
Shout out to mine as well. So I think we're in the same boat there, because I've got a 2-year-old. So shout out to our businesses. So
yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing allowing us to do this. Okay. Do I see any more questions? Do you think Amazon would use Prime Gaming for Lost Ark item drops, like skins, etc.? I have no idea.
I think they can use as many of their own things as humanly possible.
I think it'd be nice. That'd be a nice touch. I think, yeah, absolutely. Is it me, or do the Founders Packs not seem to give you much? Any thoughts on Founders Packs?
So thoughts on Founders Pack. I actually have a video discussing the Founders Packs, but you know, it gives a lot if you actually care about what's there. And I know this sounds like a cliche. They don't give you anything that you cannot get in the game later on. Or if you want a mount, you don't necessarily need to have this 3-headed mount. If you want, I don't know what else is here, a pet, a character expansion slot, or whatever, you can get them later on in game. Different ones, not these ones. But still, if you're like just a very efficient guy, you shouldn't necessarily care about the Founders Pack. These 3 days of head start, if you're a new player, you're going to probably be spending them getting to level 47. So, you know, not that big of a deal either. But there are some, let's say, some fan things. I highly, highly recommend that you buy a Founders Pack. For example, the silver one is something that I completely recommend as a new player that doesn't know anything about the game or that just discovered it. The silver Founder Pack is good because of the potions. The last perk there is called the Silver Supply Crate, and it gives you these potions at level 20, 30, 40, and 50. These potions can also be used in, by the way, the Abyssal Dungeons, which is the hardest content that we have, in the Guardian Raids, which later on they, at tier 2, for example, after you finish the first 4 bosses and get to 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, you will also need these potions. The battle items that are inside them, the signal flares, are very important in this content. And at the beginning, nobody's going to bother, you know, leveling up their herbalism so they can craft you the pots and place them on the broker at the price that you can easily acquire by farming 0 gold, by the way, until you get to finish your 1 week of dailies and get some, or do an island or whatnot. So having some potions is going to be an absolute blessing, an absolute blessing. And if I look at the potions, the difference in between silver and gold is non-existent. This is just speaking potions, by the way. But there is a difference in between everything and the platinum, right? Where in the platinum you get actually, is there? I'm just looking through them right now. I might have actually.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
No. Okay.
There's actually no difference in terms of potions from the platinum to everything else. Just potions we're talking about.
Yeah.
So no difference, right? So any founder pack you buy, starting from the silver one onwards, is a good investment. Platinum one, I myself actually have one, and I will have a second platinum. They don't stack with each other on the same Steam account, by the way, but they do stack with different kind of founders packs. So if you want to buy a platinum and also a gold and also a silver, then you're gonna get all of these rewards included. So many times the potions and so on. So yeah, might be worthwhile. Many times the royal crystals as well. Actually, this is quite a smart idea that I just gave to myself. Why don't I just buy 2 silvers?
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy. Yeah, I think I'm also gonna buy doubles. Maybe 2 silvers. But I also want 1 platinum because I want at least one of the accounts to be fully supportive of the game. I love this game, as if you cannot tell. I saw the title also in during the closed beta. There was no information, and there still isn't any information about the founder's title, what it gives. But I saw it during the closed beta on some people, and it's actually orange in color, which in Lost Ark is a nice color, a very high up there color in terms of tier. So it looks really nice. I want that title also for myself, just because it's orange, and not to mention that I want the skins and I want the mount, just to show that. Me personally, I've been here for 3 years with this game, so I want now to be here also in the West, have everything, even though I don't necessarily care that much about like skins or how my character looks in game, or what mount I ride. I care for it to have a long dash. Generally, mounts from the cash shop ride a little bit faster and have a longer dash than the ones that you can get from game, at least at early stages, for leveling up purposes. Since I'm going to level up 2, 3, 4 characters, I want to have a nice mount that, because it's shared amongst all characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it depends on you.
That's cool. Thank you for that, and thank you for going through like the potion stuff. That wasn't something that I'd looked in, going through the different packs, because you get a lot of stuff with like the platinum one. But yeah, it's interesting because the potions are quite valuable because they can be costly.
I mean, I'm not sure what exactly would you go for. There is also a chance that they might offer us login rewards on a daily basis, which contain 50, 60 potions today during the first day, and then tomorrow you have 10, 15, 20 flares. And there is also a chance that everything I've said about the potions is just nullified by the fact that the daily logins will be so good. But there is also a chance that they won't. And even if you will get potions, the more potions, the better. It is. And also, you're excited for the game, you support the game, you spend a little bit of money now, you get other perks as well, not just potions, obviously. So.
Mm-hmm. Right, should we take one more? We'll take one more. Okay, we'll take
last one. Last one. Who's the last lucky winner?
Okay, look. So one, yeah, actually, this is a question actually I get asked quite a lot. I didn't add it in my thing. Thoughts for, here we go. How long do you think after release before the Reaper class? So if we generalize that to after release, any idea on how often we might get a class to be released, as opposed to not just Reaper specific, because we don't know the order of what they might do them. But any idea on like how, like, would we get like one class every 2 months, or any ideas, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's really tough for me to have any thoughts that have any basis in logic with this, because in the past, for example, for the Japanese client, or I believe even for the Russian client, the first class generally came out 2 months after the release. However, the situation when these releases happened, Russia and Japan was a little bit different. They did have Destroyer and Arcana. That is because Gunslinger, I apologize, Gunslinger and Striker did not exist. So, nobody in there could have cared about gender unlock because that wasn't a thing yet when these releases happened. So they got Destroyer and Arcana, and then the next class that came was the Lance Master, right? I believe the Japanese release started off with the Assassins as no, it didn't. Sorry, that's my bad. They actually didn't start off with the Assassins, and they got them later. Normally, Assassins you should get them, let's say, with I believe it was with Faten, the continent Faten, which is after tier 2, because they fit in that lore. So I cannot say I'm in terms of the Reaper, though, this is debatable. In my head, it's 50-50, simply because there is here in the West, people really like Assassins to play Assassins in general. So having a third a choice on the Assassins when you have 4 choices in Warrior, probably 3 choices in Mage, 4 choices in the Gunslinger, in the Gunner, and also 4 choices in the Fighter. Having only 2 Assassins, same as having only 2 Mages, seems a little bit, I don't even know what they're going to do with the Arcana and Destroyer, because these are 2 very popular classes. So I'm not sure, because I tend to think that Arcana and Destroyer are going to come before Reaper. I also think that Scouter is going to come as the last class that we, let's say, get in our roadmap, and I couldn't tell you if it's going to be every month or every 2 months. With this fast-paced content, I'm not sure if they're going to give us more classes to satisfy our need for a big patch and the hype and everything, or they're going to give us more content like tier 2, or I don't know, half of tier 2 or whatever. They cannot give half, but tier 2, and during that more classes. Hard for me to say. Yeah.
And that's great. Thank you so much, Sywo. Thank you so much, and thank you, chat, and everyone that's tuned in. We've had we've had quite a few people turn up tonight watching stuff, so I really appreciate you guys. I honestly, Sywo, I can't thank you enough. You're an absolute legend. By the way, I don't know if you can see this. If you can see it in Discord.
What happened? Come on, stop it.
Love it. No, thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sywo, you're an absolute legend. You're an absolute pillar for the community, and I watch loads of your stuff. Guys, links for everything for Sywo is down below. Remember, he is streaming now on YouTube, and you have to check him out when he's live streaming. It's amazing. Sywo for president. Sywo for president. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and thank you, chat, and everything. This was nearly 3 hours. I was thinking we might go for like an hour and a half or so, but there's loads and loads of good information there, and I'm starting to get tired, and I think you might be as well. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for all your time and all the effort. That was a lot to go through and take on.
Thank you to those of you who were watching, by the way. Very appreciated. Nice to see you. And for Ben Lee, I guess keep up the Lost Ark content. I always appreciate other people, creating content about the game, whatever it is that they do. I know I've done some very debatable things, but everything is on purpose. Everything's for a greater good. Eventually, at the end of the day. I like being here talking about the game. And thank you to those of you who were watching. By the way, very appreciated.
Yes, and remember, tomorrow, Sywo's channel, he's got his podcast with Stoops and Leno, which is going to be very interesting, and lots of PvP talk and stuff. So I'm very keen and excited to tune into that. So thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you soon. I guess Sywo will see you soon as well. So obviously make sure to head on over, hit the link in the description, give him a sub, most definitely. So thanks, everyone, and see you later. All right, cheers now.